link up, hey. You just hit my line for the wind down. It's only one thing on my mind when you come around me. I get lost in where you found me. Want you to use me. You let her confuse me. Don't wanna hide the fact that you make me feel that way. Want you to give me play. I see it in your eyes, you're lonely. Come put that body on me. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. They can't do you like I will. Nobody do you like I will. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. They can't do you like I will. They can't do you like I will. Like I will.
I treat you right, I will.
I treat you right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. I treat you right, I will.
I treat you right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel.
I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Can't do you like I will. Like I will. Pick up the phone, little baby. You got me up and I'm wavy. You know I want you to myself. You know you've been driving me crazy. Looking me right in the eye and tell me it's mine. If not, I'ma make it that way. You know I want you in a major way. I bless that body, make you share your grace. I've been trying to get you face to face. Fall through and give you ways to waste. I do what it takes. I make them walls sing on your heartstrings. Say your
I treat you right, I will. I treat you right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby.
Know how to make you feel. I treat you right, I will.
I hit it right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby.
Know how to make you feel. I hit it right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby.
I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby.
Know how to make you feel.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody that's in the room. If you guys can hear me okay, give me a thumbs up. If you guys cannot hear me, then give me a thumbs down. All right. I'm going to shout out everybody that's in the building early. All right. It's good to see everybody here. Hopefully everybody is doing okay. Hopefully y'all had a decent holiday yesterday. Shout out to Carla. What's good with it, Carla? We got Patricia Slade in the building, B1. We got DC Precise in the house. Shout out to my man AB Promotions. Make sure you guys show AB Promotions some love for them ducats. You know what I'm saying? Shout out and appreciate the ducats, the first stream sponsor. That's what's good. We got Carlton Way in the building. Shout out to Carlton Way. We got Vovo 2 Love in the house. We got Shamika Gray in the building. We got Brooklyn Queen 125 in the house. My man Lloyd Sky 9 is in the building. This comment right here had me dying laughing, man. Eric Adams made this song. Eric Adams made the song. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Wilson's 4. What's good with the Wilson's 4? We got Torian Rain in the building. Shout out to Deneen. What's good with it, Deneen? Deneen said, Rob's live streams have adjusted my sleep schedule. I should be recovering from hosting the family, but I'm up at 6 a.m. Hey, I know your family had a great time, so that's what's good. You know what I'm saying? Now we about to have a great time in here. We got Sunkiss TMH in the building. Shout out to Sunkiss. What's good with it? And we got Hurricane IQ in the building. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. So we're going to get into this, man. We're going to talk about your boy. Oh man, Carlton got me dying laugh. We're gonna talk about your boy Eric. I'll treat you right. I will, Adams. Oh man, he'll treat you right. He will. Oh man, trust him. He got you, baby. Oh my God, man, that is hilarious. Oh man, trust him. He got you, baby. Oh, oh man, that is funny. Man, that is funny. Shout out to JBA. You know what I'm saying? Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the live stream, bro. Hope you enjoy it. So check this out, man. Mayor Eric Adams is ordering $2.1 billion migrant crisis spending cut. But in the second round of cuts, he's sparing the New York Police Department, the New York Fire Department, and the DSNY, whatever that is, from the next budget trim. But now, from what I understand, shout out to Mastermind Hour. What's good with it, bro? From what I understand, in this next round of cuts, he's cutting the migrant spending. So that's going to be interesting to see. So we're going to check out this article from Daily News. Mayor Eric Adams will spare the New York Police Department, the Fire Department, and the Sanitation Department from another planned round of budget cuts, but is ordering his administration to figure out a way to slash $2.1 billion in projected spending on housing and services for newly arrived migrants, according to a new memo from City Hall. So I find it interesting, right? Do you guys think that it's a coincidence? The Sanitation Department, I appreciate it, JBA. Shout out to Wallow. What's good with it? Do you guys find it interesting that right as Eric Adams makes these budget cut announcements and he's talking about there's going to be cuts to the migrant funding program, that's when these allegations of this woman who claims that he sexually assaulted her in 1993 came out? If you guys think that that's a very weird coincidence, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that that's a weird coincidence, then give me a thumbs down. The memo, penned by Jackie's Gia Adams, budget director, was sent to all agency heads Monday morning. It comes days after the Adams administration rolled out the mayor's November financial plan modification, which would enact deep budget cuts across all agencies as part of a 5% city government-wide spending reduction first ordered in September due to the migrant crisis-related fiscal concerns. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Do you all feel that this is the right thing for him to do? Yeah, that's a very interesting thing as well, bro. That Survivor Act plays a part too. That deadline. Big facts. Shout out to Ricky Jones. What's good with it, bro? Big facts. Definitely big facts. All of that coming together all at the same time. Very interesting. So now here it says, while all agencies managed to come up with plans to meet the 5% spending reduction target from September, the administration must do more to rein in the cost, as the city is still staring down $7.1 billion deficit for the 2025 fiscal year, which starts July 1st, Gia wrote in the memo, a copy of which was obtained by the Daily News. To that end, Gia wrote, the administration will proceed with implementing another 5% government-wide spending trim in January via a so-called program to eliminate the gap, or quote-unquote PEG. Agencies must submit their plan for how to meet the January PEG target by December 8th, Gia added. I truly wish that there were other, less painful ways to address this budget crisis, Gia wrote to the agency heads. Unlike the September directive, which mandated cuts at all city agencies, the NYPD, the FDNY, and the sanitation department won't have to participate in the January peg out of concerns that additional budget cuts at those departments could, quote unquote, impact public safety, health, and cleanliness, according to GIA. Now, here goes my question for you guys. I found a recording of the town hall meeting where Eric Adams discussed this stuff. And my question for you guys is, would you guys like to have that streamed so we could check it out and break it down? I think it's about an hour long. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the chat, okay? While those three agencies are exempt, Gia wrote in his missive that the administration is implementing another, even more drastic belt-tightening initiative on top of the January peg that's specifically aimed at cutting costs related to caring for newly arrived migrants. Now, let me ask you guys a question. I want to see how creative you guys are. What would be the lowest cost way to deal with this quote-unquote particular issue? What do you guys think? If you guys agree with Ricky, Ricky says it's simple. Deport them if you have no cash. Yeah. And we're going to see why that actually might not be a bad idea later on in the stream. Okay? Because honestly, what's interesting about this entire situation is that in many of these different places, the migrants tend to end up deporting themselves, which again is interesting. In many cases, the migrants tend to end up deporting themselves. Okay. So now here it says that additional initiative, which the news first reported last week was forthcoming, will require the administration to slash projected spending on sheltering and providing services for migrants by 20% in the current 2024 fiscal year, which started this past July 1st and runs through June 30th of 2024. Gia wrote, according to its own projections, the administration is on track to spend $4.7 billion on migrant crisis response in the 2024 fiscal year, meaning the mayor's team will need to shave that price tag by $940 million to comply with the 20% savings directive. So I want you guys to keep this number in mind. New York City alone spent $4.7 billion on the migrant crisis response in the 2024 fiscal year. Okay? That is a lot of money. As a matter of fact, that's a ridiculous amount of money. Let me ask you guys this question. Do you all think that the citizens of New York got $4.7 billion in value from the Adams administration? If you guys think that they did, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that they did, then give me a thumbs down. So now it says Gia wrote, hold on real quick. Gia wrote that the same peg will also require a 20% spending reduction on migrant crisis costs in fiscal year 2025, which runs from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th of 2025, with the administration projecting to spend $5.9 billion on the migrant crisis response in fiscal year 2025. That translates to another $1.18 billion cut for a total trim of roughly $2.2 billion by mid-2025. So I want you guys to pay very close attention to this. And I don't think that they're going to meet these budget criteria. If anything, they're probably going to fudge the numbers. But they already have spending through 2025 calculated at a possible $5.9 billion. And that's if they're able to maintain, the budget. Okay? That's if they're able to maintain the budget. There's no guarantee that they will be able to maintain the budget. Most times when these cities, governments, and even companies try to maintain a strict budget like this, they rarely succeed at doing it. Okay? They rarely succeed at doing it. Gia did not elaborate on how exactly the administration will achieve such a large migrant crisis spending cut. See, they don't have a plan to do it. But we're going to talk about some ways that it might go down on its own, because people in other states are doing things to stop this. And what's interesting is a lot of the migrants are turning around and going back home. You know what I'm saying? But said that Adams' new Office of Asylum Seeker Operations will lead the charge on developing a plan. His letter did say that the administration can generate savings from continuing to reduce the length of shelter stays for migrants, which has been a priority for the mayor since he implemented policies earlier this year, limiting consecutive days to 30 for single adult migrants and 60 days for migrants with families and kids. So now, again, I want you guys to pay very close attention, right? This is the first phase of what New York City is doing, right? So now, here's my question. Do you all see what I'm saying? That in Chicago, they're slowly starting to move towards doing the things that New York is doing. What New York is doing is New York is implementing policies that shows that the strain on the city is causing issues with them to be able to service the people of New York as well as service the migrants. They haven't made that announcement in Chicago yet, but the way that the practices of dealing with the migrants are starting to change, including that 60-day limit stay that Brandon Johnson just put into place, it's starting to look like New York City in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's starting to look like New York City in Chicago. Chicago just hasn't said anything. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Let's say Chicago decides to start saying something. Let's say Brandon Johnson, just out of the clear blue sky overnight, develops a set of balls. Let me ask you guys this question. What do y'all think is going to happen to Brandon Johnson if that happens? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching, wherever you're watching from. If you have not smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Among the city agencies spending the most on the migrant crisis response are the departments of homeless services. See, so the departments of homeless services, that's supposed to be taking care of the homeless people crisis, but it's not. It's taking care of the migrant crisis. So now here's my question. What's going on with the homeless people in New York City? Housing preservation and development, emergency management, and health plus hospitals. Adams spokesman Charles Lutvak wouldn't say whether the planned migrant crisis budgets will involve shuttering emergency shelters. Lutvak reiterated, though, that the administration must come up with a plan for plugging the $7.1 billion budget hole for the 2025 fiscal year by mid-January, when the mayor is supposed to release his first draft for the next city government budget. I'm going to tell you guys something. That is going to be a disaster. When Mayor Eric Adams releases that budget cut draft, that is going to be a monumental disaster. Just watch. We must close an unprecedented budget gap in just 2 months. And without the significant and timely support we need from Albany and Washington, we will be forced to find even more savings, Lutvak said. Our state and federal partners can help stave off these cuts by providing the funding necessary to support vital city services. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Why do you all feel that Kathy Hochul and Joe Biden are not providing the funds? Remember, I want you guys to pay attention, right? Remember the live stream that we did yesterday on the other channel? J.B. Pritzker in Chicago made the same complaint about Joe Biden, that Joe Biden administration is not providing the support that's necessary to make this sustainable. So now let me ask you guys this. If the federal government fails, what happens? Now, here goes my thing, right? If you're a Democrat city and you're watching this and you're watching the federal government let these sanctuary cities sink, what would you do? What would you do? Because you got to ask yourself the question, if the Biden administration is going to let us sink on this sanctuary issue, what other issue will they let us sink on? That's the question that I would be asking. But what's interesting about it is that nobody's really asking that question publicly. And my question is, why is nobody asking that question publicly? So we're going to ask it here. If the Biden administration and the federal government is not properly backing these cities that have designated themselves as sanctuary cities, what else can the Biden administration be expected or trusted to back anybody up on? Shout out to Deneen. Deneen said the Biden administration is cold-blooded. Joe Biden said, Eric Adams. You know what I'm saying? What did the five fingers say to the migrant? Oh, man. That's crazy, man. Joe Biden just sitting back there like, stop complaining and have some unity. Oh, man, it's all bad, man. It's all bad. So now here it says, according to the latest data from City Hall, nearly 66,000, mostly Latin American migrants, remain housed in city shelters, costing the administration millions of dollars every week. So now this is interesting, right? 66 million, mostly Latin American migrants, remain housed in city shelters. Where's everybody else at? They always tend to show a lot of Africans when they show New York City. Have you guys noticed that? They show a lot of Africans when they show New York City. Too bad Umar Johnson don't have a school together. He could house some of the Africans from New York City in the school. My fellow Africans. I have a red, green, and black gymnasium that's just waiting for my fellow kings to come and build up this education. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a lot of fellow Africans, at least in the pictures of what they show about New York City. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Democrat leaders in city council who would block some of the spending cuts sought by the mayor have for months raised concern that Adams' administration is overspending on migrant crisis response by relying on for-profit contractors for shelter services. The city has historically relied on nonprofits in outsourcing such services. So now here goes my question. Why do you all think that the Adams administration decided to use for-profit shelter services? Shout out to my man Mike Mellis John, B1, bro. That's facts. Umar is going to take another 15 years with that imaginary school. Bro, you could have 3 doctorate degrees if messing around waiting for that school to get built. Deneen Grant said Dr. Umar had us choosing classroom paint colors. Hopefully he didn't decide to take a break and snack on paint chips. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, asked about the planned 20% migrant crisis spending cut, Brooklyn Councilwoman Justin Brannan, a Democrat who chairs the council's finance committee, said he has sympathy for the fact that Adams' administration isn't receiving enough monetary aid from the federal government to tackle the migrant crisis. So now this is my question for you guys. Why is it that the federal government is not providing the aid? I want to know what you guys' theories are on why you feel that the federal government is not providing the aid. Shout out to Ricky Jones. Ricky Jones said the federal government let the people in Hawaii and Ohio down. That's big facts. Asked about the planned 20% migrant crisis spending cut, Brooklyn Councilman Justin Brennan, a Democrat who chairs, I already read this, but I'll read it again. The council's finance committee said he has sympathy for the fact that Adams' administration isn't receiving enough monetary aid from the federal government to tackle the migrant crisis. But Brennan said the for-profit contracting model the administration's relying on isn't doing the city any favors. Without real help from D.C., the administration has relied on expensive emergency contracts with for-profit companies that cost the city billions of dollars for migrant care, and now the bill is due. So now here's another thing that's interesting, right? In Chicago, they utilized for-profit contractors as well. You guys remember that? We did a whole expose where we talked about all of the prices and all of the pay breakdown that's going on in Chicago. So now we got to ask the question then, why are these mayors and governors spending money on private contractors instead of using nonprofit contractors? That would be a lot more cost efficient. That's the question. What kind of sense does that make? What it seems like, if you ask me, is that before these crises took place, that there were pre-arranged business deals for who would be doing what services for profit during this migrant crisis. Yeah, I gotta agree. If you guys agree with Deneen, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Deneen, give me a thumbs down. We need a full accounting of these costs and a long-term plan. See? So I'm not the only person that asks for accounting and long-term plans. So now, as you guys can see, these people want to see what Mayor Eric Adams is up to as far as the spending habits of his. That ain't looking so good. You know what I'm saying? So there's an article that came out. Shout out to Win Loser Rug. What's good with it, bro? And shout out to James Sumler. What's good with y'all? There's an article that came out from CBS. Okay. And this article from CBS talks about how migrant crisis services will be on the chopping block. You know what I'm saying? The migrant crisis services are going to be on a chopping block. So as soon as this commercial finishes, we're going to check out this video that they got here. Let's see. Here we go. All right. There we go. See what we got. Let's see what we got. You just do that there. Move that back like that. Get that quality right. They don't even have HD on here. All right.
Back here at home, with New Yorkers still reeling from the first round of city budget cuts, including a dramatic cut in the number of officers, comes word of a second round of belt tightening.
And this time, migrant services are on the chopping block. CBS 2 political reporter Marsha Kramer here now with more on this. Marsha.
Maurice and Christine, to be blunt, migrants arriving in New York City are in for a rude awakening. They may not be lodged in pricey midtown hotels anymore. And instead of culturally appropriate meals, they may be handed a lunch bag with a turkey sandwich.
Hey, why is that funny, man? Is that, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be laughing. Maybe I should be, but that's hilarious. But what do they mean culturally appropriate meals? You mean like you get culturally appropriate meals? I'm not trying to be funny, but you know where the best place to get culturally appropriate stuff is? Where your culture is. Better take that turkey sandwich, and if they offer you gravy, you better dip the sandwich in the gravy. That's what you better do. Culturally appropriate meals. They need to feed them some chitlins. I thought I was the only one that noticed her voice. I know that voice is unique. Y'all remember Daria on MTV? This Daria's mom right here. I had to wake up this morning and go to the news and do my job. And what I'm going to be talking about today is the migrant crisis in New York.
May not be lodged in pricey midtown hotels anymore, and instead of culturally appropriate meals, they may be handed a lunch bag with a turkey sandwich.
Hey, Lloyd. hey, hey, Lloyd, that's what we was talking about. Hold on. Look, Lloyd, hold on, man. We gotta do this. Shout out to Carlton. Wait, where Carlton at? Hey, where Carlton at? You know what I'm saying? That's because of this right here.
I'll treat you right, trust me, I got you, baby. No hiding. I'll treat you right, I'll treat you right, trust me, I got you, baby. No hiding. I hit it right, I'll treat you right, trust me, I got you, baby. No hiding. I hit it right, I'll treat you right. Do you like I will?
Hey, they can't feed him like he will. Oh man. That's hilarious. Hold on, man.
How to make you feel? They can't do you like I will. They can't do you like I will, like I will.
I'll treat you right, I will. I'll treat you right, trust me, I got you, baby.
Hey, I'll feed you right. I will. I'll feed you right. I will. How you like your turkey sandwich? Toasted or grilled? I'll feed you right. I will.
No hiding. I'll treat you right, I will. I'll treat you right, trust me, I got you, baby. No hiding. I hit it right.
Oh my god. Oh man, that is hilarious. Oh man. Oh man, my stomach is killing me, man. Oh god damn. Man, that is too funny, man.
I'll treat you right, trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. I hit it right, I'll treat you
right. Oh man. Hey, that's why his name is Eric. I'll treat you right. I will. Adams. That's oh my god, man. Hey, that should that be his new nickname? Eric, I'll treat you right. I will. Adams. Oh my god, that is funny as hell, man.
The city's budget crunch is that bad.
I know New Yorkers are angry when they hear about these efficiency cuts. Well, you New Yorkers, I want you to know I'm angry also.
Mayor Adams talking about yet another round of budget cuts, 5%, that agencies will have to come up with within the next few weeks. While the belt tightening is caused in part by the tens of thousands of asylum seekers seeking shelter here, they're now going to find that the city that never sleeps is not going to.
Hey, but from that last article though, right? From that New York Daily, whatever the hell it was. It's interesting now when you look after they said that the majority of the migrants that are housed are Latino. They never show the African migrants inside of any kind of building. It's only the Latino ones that get shelter and stuff. The African ones are always outside sleeping on the concrete. Do y'all notice that? If y'all notice that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't notice that, give me a thumbs down. And real quick, everybody, we got 52 people watching. Shout out to everybody that's watching. If y'all haven't smashed that like button, please take a moment, smash that like button, and let's try to get to 90.
To be so generous going forward and finding places to sleep. According to this letter sent to commissioners, the city is going to slash migrant services by 20%. That's $1.5 billion.
So now let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think that what's going on in New York with these budget cuts, is that soon to happen in Chicago? And what time frame do y'all think is going to happen in Chicago in? What's the time frame that y'all think that this is going to occur in? Yeah, they put the Africans on the street. Now, what's up with that? Wallow said, but I thought the Africans that came over there are better than us FBA. I'll tell you what, New York City is doing them dirty. And what's interesting about it is I don't think that it's even the African immigrants, the African migrants that are on the street that are the ones that are complaining. Wait till we watch the videos about the people that are complaining and getting flights back. I haven't heard of nobody getting a flight back from New York to Zimbabwe, but they've been sending a lot of people back to Venezuela, though, that voluntarily wanted to go.
It's, quote, designed to reduce per diem costs and reduce the length of shelter stays. That's a nice way of saying migrants might not be staying in pricey midtown hotels. Are you going to have to close some of the shelters, some of the expensive hotels you're using in favor of the bigger congregate shelters?
Nothing is off the table. Nothing.
Will we see people sleeping on the street?
Our desire has always been in a layer approach. The first most important layer is not to have children and families sleeping on the street. But I've made it clear after over 140,000 migrants and asylum seekers, of course, that is just continuing to increase. Thousands are still coming in each week. The visible signs of this crisis is going to start to show itself.
The budget director said in his agency letter that the migrant cuts were due in part to a decision by the governor to limit asylum seeker aid to targeted interventions like legal services instead of costly housing and shelter needs. The governor made that clear today.
We have to be, have common sense on what we can actually handle, the city and the state, and the policies to say that there's not unlimited housing for the entire world to come stay in a hotel in Midtown. Okay, that era is over, and that's just a reality check.
So now here goes my question. Why was that era ever a thing? Why was that ever a thing? That's the question right there. Who made that a rule? It should have never been like that. If you don't have unlimited capacity, you really probably shouldn't be offering unlimited room and board. I don't think that that's the best idea at all. What do you guys think?
The budget director said that the city had been hoping to get 1/3 of the cost of migrant shelters from the state.
So therefore, we're trying to, as best as we can, not to take any more drastic action than we need to do.
Now, the agencies, including the Office of Asylum
He sounds like he's a migrant. You know what I'm saying?
Seeker operations, have until December 8th to come up with plans for the latest round of belt tightening.
All right, so there's that. All right, so what you guys see here is that they're going to be cutting migrant services by about 20%, which is a lot. That's the estimated amount that they're going to cut migrant services. There's no guarantee that they're going to be able to successfully do that. I don't think that they're going to do it successfully. So now we got an article, or not an article, but we have a video here from Sky News, and this video from Sky News, all the way in Australia, is saying that the migrant crisis in New York City has intensified, which is interesting because the number of migrants is down, but they're saying that it intensified. I'll tell you whose crisis is intensifying. Eric Adams' crisis is intensifying, and it's probably going to get worse. Shout out to Jacoby, B1.
Hayer, investigative immigration reporter at the Daily Caller. Jenny, thanks so much for coming here on Thanksgiving weekend for us. This week, we saw this bizarre case of speeding.
So again, Sky News, right? We got to break this media down. Sky News is an affiliate and a former actual part of the Rupert Murdoch media network value chain. Now, who is he citing as his quote-unquote correspondent? Somebody from the Daily Wire. Let me ask you guys a question. How reliable and how unbiased is this information here that we're getting from Sky News, Fox affiliate, Rupert Murdoch value chain affiliate, partnering with an individual to talk about this, quote unquote, from the Daily Wire? And they're using this person to prop this news report as legitimate information. Let me ask y'all this. How legitimate is this information?
Car crashing and exploding at a Niagara Falls bridge connecting the U.S. and Canada. Now, initially they thought this was
then there we go.
Now it doesn't look like that.
Like clockwork. Like clockwork. Once you guys see this, like it's like the Matrix. You can see through anything. Like clockwork. Here comes the quotation from guess who? Rupert Murdoch owned New York Post. So now what I'm going to show you guys what this is like. What this is like is a Walmart employee getting a Sam's Club employee to give a testimony on how amazing Members Mark is. That's what this is like. This is like a Walmart employee getting a Sam's Club employee to offer you a Members Mark soda while discussing how great Lowe's is. That is something that is very important to consider when you're watching your media sources. He used to own Sky News, Deneen. He used to own Sky News, but he sold it. But they're still affiliated. Know what I'm saying?
That. What's the latest we know? And I mean, frankly, Jenny, I'm amazed that there are still even border checkpoints. I thought that anybody was just allowed to walk in. What's going on?
Right, exactly. Well, the northern border has not had a lot of focus, but has seen, something similar to what the southern border has seen in the last few years, which is a surge in illegal immigration. And yes, there are certain checkpoints, but it does lack a wall. This initially was said to be suspected terrorism. Now we're learning that that has been almost ruled out, it appears, from what the New York governor has said, Kathy Hochul. And it seems like there are a lot of questions still about what led to this. This vehicle was going into Canada. It was going at a high rate of speed. Some reports said 100 miles per hour. So I think that kind of dismisses any of the allegations that.
So now, this is my question for you guys. I actually had a stream planned about this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it or not. Shout out to Carla. What's good with it, Carla? But my question for you guys is, what do you all think happened with this situation here on the Niagara Falls bridge? What do y'all think happened? According to Kathy Hochul, she came out with a statement. She did a press release. And on the press release, she said that terrorism, quote unquote, have been ruled out. Yeah, I like how they clown Joe Biden too. Make sure that you check out the new roast series on Reacts, the roast of Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? Coming soon.
This person was moved to a secondary inspection, because how could you be going at such a high rate of speed and then, you know, the vehicle went airborne and over a fence? So something really remarkable happened here, but we just don't know yet, and that's what police are investigating.
Very, very strange case, and you can see why they were concerned, especially with all the stuff we've spoken about the danger that people on that terror watch list are coming into the country. But let's move to New York City from the New York border.
So now they said that hold on real quick. Let me see something. They said that this they said that the I'm trying to look at this real quick. I want to see this video of this going of the vehicle going airborne. Did y'all see the video of the vehicle going airborne? If you guys saw a video of the vehicle going airborne, give me a thumbs up. If y'all didn't see a video of it going airborne, give me a thumbs down. I want to see that. We gotta take a look at this real quick. I had actually planned on doing a separate stream about this, and I think I still might, but I got to see this airborne action right here. I'm sorry, I got to. You know what I'm saying?
Now, this is security footage from U.S. Customs and Border Protection of the moment a vehicle starts speeding from the American side of the border. You can see it there at the top of the screen. There it is.
Oh,
and
damn. What? That's not funny at all. What what was that motherfucker doing? Did y'all see that? The hell? Look at this.
Now, this is security footage from U.S. Customs.
Hey, Torian, you still in here? Man, he flew up on that shit like a stunticon. You remember the Decepticons, but they were stunt cars? He flew straight up off that shit like he was a stunticon. What was that big transformer that they combined and made? His name was Minosaur, I think.
And Border Protection of the moment a vehicle starts speeding from the American side of the border. You can see it there at the top of the screen. There it is. And
what did it ride up on that made it fly up like that?
Now, this is security footage from U.S. Customs and Border Protection of the moment a vehicle starts speeding from the American side of the border. You can see it there at the top of the screen. There it is. And this is just before it crashed and then exploded at a checkpoint. The identities of those individuals in the car have not yet been released. It's also still unclear if, at this point as to whether or not the driver was intentionally heading for the bridge. The scene certainly left witnesses stunned.
I seen something airborne. I first thought it was an airplane. It looked like slow motion. And I said, my God, it's a car. And it's a vehicle and it's flying through the air. He hit the concrete barrier, probably right at the signal, God knows how many thousands of feet before the bridge. It went airborne. The vehicle began to turn sideways and went under something overhead.
I've never seen anything like this. It was just incredible. The fire was so high up in the air. My only concern was I hope nobody else got hurt, because if anybody was in that way, I don't think they would have survived.
Hey, did that? It was a barrier. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say because I didn't see anything to make the car fly like that. Like, the hell? See, hold on. We about to look at it. We about to look at it again. Yeah, that's some Dukes of Hazzard shit for sure.
And now at 5, there is security video that shows the car.
Hold on real quick. I'm trying to see what the
video that shows.
That's wild. Man, I know they was scared as hell. There was a barrier that sloped. Lloyd, man. Hey, stop, man. They're gonna ban the stream. Oh, you guys are sitting up here making fun of misfortune. Like, no, I'm not making fun of misfortune. I'm just trying to figure out how that car went airborne like that. Like, it's a bad angle and it's difficult to see, and it's it's like so exaggerated. Like what?
Thank you. And now at 5, there is security video that shows the car that went airborne before crashing and exploding at the U.S.-Canadian border. It happened in New York and caused immediate concerns that terrorism might be to blame.
2 people inside the car are dead. Our John Fenolio is tracking late developments from our news center. John?
Yeah, Sheriff Sandy, scary stuff. New York's governor says the driver was a Western New York resident, but officials have yet to identify him. Federal, state, and local authorities.
So that's interesting. The driver was a Western New York resident. So if they didn't identify him, how do they know where he lived? How do you know that somebody's a Western New York resident if you don't know what their identification is? Does that make any sense? We know he's a Western New York resident, yet we don't know anything about him. What?
Center, John?
Yeah, Sheriff Sandy, scary stuff. New York's governor says the driver was a Western New York resident, but officials have yet to identify him.
So how do they know where he was from then? How do you know he was a resident? How do you know his residence if you haven't identified him? That's kind of backwards. That's kind of like out of order, isn't it?
Federal, state, and local authorities quickly went into alert mode, but say there appears to be no further danger to the public.
A heart-stopping moment at the U.S.-Canada border as a speeding white car suddenly goes airborne, crashes into a checkpoint, and explodes into flames.
We heard a big bang, and I said, there's no way that guy's going to stop. There's no way he can stop. He's just going too fast. The car was coming flying back here, like over 100 miles an hour. We could hardly even see him. He was going that quick. There was a car in front of him. He swerved around it, and then it looked like he hit the fence, and this fire started, and then all of a sudden he went up in the air, and then it was a ball of fire like 30, 40 feet high.
2 people inside the sedan killed instantly. Officials say the driver was on the U.S. side of the border before suddenly accelerating from one inspection site to another at the Rainbow Bridge crossing near Niagara Falls. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says so far there is no sign of terrorism.
Based on what we know at this moment, and again, anything can change, there is no sign of terrorist activity with respect to this crash. We've identified that this is a local individual, a Western New Yorker.
Authorities are not specifying what might have caused the incident.
We're taking this circumstance very seriously, but to speculate on the origin of this particular circumstance, the reasons why this may have happened, until we have more accurate information, is simply not responsible.
But the FBI is on scene gathering evidence. A U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agent suffered minor injuries and has since been released from the hospital. Officials urging calm.
And there's a lot of unanswered questions, but at this time, we just need to dial down the temperature right now. And that's what I plan to do as governor. Just let everybody know. All is well. We're investigating. More information could arise, but based on the preliminary investigation.
So what they're saying is don't ask any questions. As long as you understand that we have this allegedly under control, don't you dare ask any questions. Okay.
Investigation. No sign of terrorist involvement.
All right, authorities have not released the identity of the driver and passenger. Of course, this incident comes on one of the busiest travel days of the year during a heightened state of alert due to increased chatter about possible attacks linked to the war in Gaza. As such, authorities are taking extra precautions tonight. 4 border crossings are closed across Canada. Airport screenings are being stepped up in Canada and in the U.S. But again, officials say there is no sign of terrorism. We'll have more at 6. For now, in the news center, I'm John Fenolio.
Yeah, so that was wild. And like I said, if I get time, we're going to definitely talk about that. All right, so let's get back to this Sky News report. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to y'all. I appreciate you guys. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment and hit the bell and share the stream to your social media. Give me 1 second. Let me just get this together real quick. The car was a Rolls-Royce Bentley. Oh, wow, was it? I've never seen anything quite like that before, I can say. Oh, it was a Tesla Model X. I wonder if it was on autopilot and the AI did that. If it was a Tesla, that's interesting.
Watch list are coming into the country. But let's move to New York City from the New York border, where the migrant crisis is really intensifying. And there, Mayor Eric Adams has come out this week and warned there is nothing they can do to stop migrants from sleeping on the streets. What is happening in New York here, and how bad of a crisis?
So here goes my question. Why is there nothing that we can do to stop migrants from sleeping on the streets? Why is there nothing they can do to stop the migrants from sleeping on the streets? I don't understand that. What's the problem? What's the holdup? Why is it that they can't stop them from sleeping on the streets? Now, see, do you guys remember stop and frisk? If you guys remember stop and frisk, give me a thumbs up. If you don't remember stop and frisk, give me a thumbs down. The reason why I mentioned stop and frisk is because as we get later in the live stream, we're going to talk about some places where they're doing something like a quote unquote stop and frisk, but with the undocumented bros. And there's a lot of people that don't agree with it. Me personally, I don't see the problem.
Sleeping on the streets. What is happening in New York here, and how bad of a crisis is this becoming? Because we've also heard the administration there say this is costing them billions, and they're not going to be able to do a lot of city services for ordinary tax-paying New Yorkers. Is it all breaking down?
Oh, absolutely. It's breaking down. You've seen the cuts to the budget, like you discussed. You know, key sectors of the government there, the education system, the sanitation system.
Again, look at everybody that's outside. See, that article really put that into perspective. Look at who's outside and look at who's inside. Now, my question for you guys is, why are the people that we see outside, and why are the people that we see inside? See, we're looking at it now. It's not just speculation anymore.
Things that people really do need, New Yorkers need. At the same time, they are struggling to support these migrants, and that's how they're trying to pay for it. I think that Eric Adams has tried to do everything he can to move these people out. You know, we travel down to the reticketing center that he has there. He's trying to actually give migrants the option to leave New York City and provide them free tickets out of the city to wherever they want to go in the world, actually. Some of them have gone back to their home countries. But when I went to the center—
So that's what we're talking about right here. A lot of these places, or I'm sorry, a lot of these migrants, they've actually opted out to go back to their home country. Of course, right? Of course, on our dollar. Of course, right? Of course they did it on our dollar, but they still opted to go back to their country. Let me ask you guys this question. Why do you all feel that they're going back to their countries? If it was so bad, the most deplorable conditions here should be livable for them, right? Like that would make sense, right? Because it's so intolerable where you were, then here, the worst of the worst should be easily doable for you, right? So now, why are they going back is the question. And real quick, shout out to everybody watching. We got 71 people watching and we got 62 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us over 100, that would be great.
Center, I spoke to so many of these migrants, and none of them wanted to leave New York City. They still felt like they had more there as far as resources and free, you know, handouts that they could have rather than any other place in the country, or, you know, of course, the option to return to their home country.
And I think there's a really interesting bit of politics playing out here, too, because, you know, New Yorkers who are doing it tough and maybe who rely on a lot of services and charities are not.
Hey, that's a great question. And I want everybody to try to figure out and leave an answer to that question in the comment section. Deneen asked, how are they flying out of the country without passports? That's a great question. Probably the same way they came in, because they came in without a passport, without documents, nothing. And yeah, look what she said, free handouts. Which is interesting because they don't they don't call what they built their wealth off of free handouts, do they?
Not happy about the stress that this new population is putting on those services. Have a listen to this.
They was first online for the turkeys this morning. If they tell you to be there at 11 o'clock, you get there like 10:30, 10:45. But they already out there. The line is from over there to over here.
Free food giveaways, especially during the holidays, have become a source of tension between longtime
Shout
New
out to
Yorkers
Fantizzy.
struggling
What's
to get
good,
by
bro?
and newly arrived migrants who are using the system to survive.
We would never turn anyone away for a meal, but there simply just is not enough for both nighttime residents and the migrant shelter residents.
Now, New York City votes very heavily Democratic. Do you think the Biden administration is going to be concerned that some of these voters might take it out on them come next November?
I think certainly when it hits them in their pocket.
Now, here goes my question. Should Democrat voters not vote Democrat anymore, especially in Chicago and New York? What do you guys think? That's my question. Because you guys can see they're discussing it here, right? So what this means is that these conservatives, they're expecting the Democrats, the people who usually vote Democrat, to just dive into the laps of conservatives, which I wouldn't advise anybody to vote Democrats, but I wouldn't advise you to jump in the lap of conservatives either. Because these people have a lot, the conservatives have done a lot of damage to the black reputation, and they owe. So they shouldn't get a free pass. They shouldn't get a free dollar. They shouldn't get a free vote. They shouldn't get a free smile. They shouldn't get a free interaction without the nastiest attitude in the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
That's when you have a possible shift in votes. It reminds me of situations like we saw in September 2021 at the southern border in Del Rio, Texas, where you had about 14,000 migrants show up in a matter of days. And the city, which is one of the lowest, funded counties in the country, had to scramble to do everything. New York City is only, having to deal with partial part of that. They have more resources than a city.
And shout out to Carla and shout out to Denise. Make sure you guys throw some flames and radiation emoji in the chat for them for keeping up with the bots.
Del Rio, and they have the community and they have all that, but it appears that it's actually broken. That the city has said, they don't have anything that they can offer anymore. They're trying to get them out of there, in fact, like we said. So this is something that the border communities have been warning about, and no one had listened until finally it came to them. And it didn't just come to them through Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who started busing them. I mean, most of these migrants have come on their own.
And finally, before I let you go,
hey, that's facts, Carlton. How many people have ever seen this meme that Carlton is talking about? And shout out to Brooklyn Queen for hitting that Nightbot too. How many people have ever seen that meme that Carlton is talking about? Carlton says that reminds me of the meme of all these different races standing in line, and Uncle Sam is giving them cake, and the black person at the end of the line has no cake. I heard that they made an updated version of that meme, and it even has a little alien in front of the black person, bro. They got like a little baby Yoda looking alien in front of the black person on the new 2.0 updated version of that meme.
I need to ask you about this amazing exclusive that you had on the Daily Caller website about illegal marijuana farms being run by Chinese nationals, bizarrely across the state of Maine. What did you uncover here?
So we visited some of these properties after we had heard about.
No, I haven't heard anything about this. Illegal Chinese, they're calling it pot, which is hilarious. Grows are taking over rural blue state, and authorities aren't stopping them. So I didn't know anything about this. And intergalactic, bro. And intergalactic, bro. And that visual is definitely the truth. And shout out to Lehman Lucas. What's good with it, bro? So now the truth in that meme should open people up to the reality that there has to be a multifaceted strategy in order to change that dynamic. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you show my man Frozen some love. He's the second stream sponsor with the $10 super chat. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for Frozen. It's no romance like Binance. Yo, speaking of no romance like Binance, bro, I know your crypto wallet going crazy right now.
The 270 suspected Chinese illegal marijuana grows that had popped up in the state of Maine. And what we found is just an astonishing situation where you have these operating in plain sight in rural Maine, and the communities there have alerted law enforcement to this issue, but no one seems to be doing anything about this. The memo came out over the summer. That was the federal government that was, warning about this. And then, of course, local police and local sheriffs know about this issue, but all of these sites seem to be still active from what we've seen. For example, one of them was across the street from a daycare and reeked of marijuana. They're taking up the rural power supply, causing blackouts for their neighbors. They're doing all kinds of things that are making the community feel very insecure, but they also feel forgotten because no one is heeding their warnings or their calls for law enforcement to go after these people.
Absolutely shocking, Jenny. And as I always say, let the borders break down and law and order soon follows. Jenny Taylor, thank you so much. Read her stuff on dailycaller.com.
I'll pass, but you guys can if you want to. With me personally, I'll pass. So let me ask you guys this question. Oh, you already know, bro. Big facts. Crypto winter is close to being over. Super facts, bro. How many people heard about Biden and Eric Adams speaking terms? I want you guys to give me some guesses. How long do you all think that it's been since Eric Adams and Joe Biden have been in communication? Just drop a random guess into the comment section. Yeah, you definitely won't hear about that on you definitely won't hear about it on CNN. Big facts, Deneen. And if you guys see any information about those illegal quote unquote pot grows, make sure you guys try to slide it to me. Go into the Discord or follow me on some social media. The best way to get in touch with me is Discord, but you could try the other ways. No guarantee. Shout out to Deneen. Deneen says 18 months. Anybody got any other guesses? How long has it been? Hurricane says 1 year. So we got 18 months and we got a year. DC Precise says 1.5 years. So 1.5 years, that'd be 18 months. So we got 2 for 18 months. BOG says 9 months. Let's see what they talking about.
Yeah, speaking of around the world, if we brought it back home and we talk about our own safety and security, our border has been one of the biggest topics for every American, not just Democrats or Republicans, not just Texans, but also people in the North, also people in New York City who have had a flood of migrants. And now we're learning that Joe Biden, who once embraced Eric Adams, well, the two of them aren't really getting along anymore.
Yeah, that's
so now they're not getting along anymore. It was all good just a week ago. And now Biden out here tweaking, ho. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. Not good.
That's right. There was a political article titled almost exactly that. Joe Biden once embraced Eric Adams, so to expect that anytime soon. And listen to how they characterize their relationship. They call it icy, the icy relationship emerging amid Adams' criticism of the president's handling of the migrant crisis has evolved into a deep freeze, with the New York mayor now embroiled in a federal investigation over whether his campaign colluded with foreign interests. But this absolutely has to do with the fact that Eric Adams is speaking out about border issues. When President Biden was in New York City, Mayor Eric Adams requested a meeting with him, and that meeting was denied.
Yeah, just so you know, by the way, it should be Eric Adams should be mad at the president. It should not vice versa, because this president's irresponsible way of not handling the border issues has caused the sanctuary city in New York, which should never be, and the right to shelter, which should never be in place, has been overwhelmed with over 130,000. It's estimated 85,000 are still here. They're coming at 2,000 a week. And this is a little bit what's happening outside the hotels, where they're staying for free, getting 3 meals a day, getting their laundry done, and getting their sheets changed, all at our expense, to the point you got to cut back.
So now, mind you, right there. Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention to how anti-Black Fox is. These people, the Black migrants who are outside, they're clearly not getting any of that shit because they're outside. The Latino residents who are inside are the ones getting the stuff, but they keep showing the Black ones. So just pay very close attention to that dynamic. And we're going to ask a dumb question. Shout out to DSA. Why do you guys think that is?
They have chosen to cut back cops, cut down library hours, cut back FDNY, cut back educational services, because we're doing all this for free because of President Biden's irresponsible lack of border policy, and it's destroying the city that one of his greatest supporters run.
They know how to galvanize their audience. They know that their audience are such backwoods, wrong turn, the hills have eyes people that if they show the darkest skinned migrants, these people will go into an Antarctic rage. Would you guys agree? Because here's the question: is mad different kinds of migrants. We've talked about all the different kind of migrants that's down there. The news reports, the local news has even talked about that. So now the question is, why is it that Fox News is only showing African migrants? Let me ask you guys this: how valid does that make Fox News? How legitimate does that make the information that Fox News has to offer? Because this is clearly not an accurate representation, right?
Why is he mad at Eric Adams for speaking up, saying what everybody knows? He should actually be more direct.
Yeah, this goes back to what we talked about in the beginning of the show about this idea that Biden's administration puts out these talking points for Thanksgiving that says Trump didn't shut down the border. Trump didn't make the border any better. All he did was put families in cages. I don't remember a couple of years ago New York being at odds with anyone with any of the leading Democrats over what should be done about the border. But here we are with a Democratic mayor in New York and a Democratic president in the White House, and for some reason they can't get on the same page. So if it's all about ideology and all about how bad Trump was, then why do we have this problem in New York right now?
I do not know how you sleep at night if you're President Biden or Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas with a wide open border during a heightened terror alert because of what's going on in Israel with Hamas, and knowing that you can change it. Politics comes into play here big time. But if you're the president of the United States, national security is your top priority.
Right. And by the way, people say, why is Donald Trump winning? Why is Donald Trump winning? Because the issues he ran on in 2016 are even more apropos today. We saw the way he handled it compared to the way President Biden's handling it. And a lot of independents, a lot of undecideds are saying, I like the old way. And maybe we should have pushed judges to do what Trump wanted. That's get rid of
Now, do you guys remember? I just want to ask you guys the question. Do you guys remember earlier this year? If you guys remember earlier this year, when Fox and New York Post were throwing Trump under the bus, give me a thumbs up. There was massive amounts of headlines. Massive amounts of headlines where New York Post and Fox were throwing Trump under the bus. And look at them now. They're bootlicking now.
The sanctuary city status declared unconstitutional.
I'm Steve Deuce. All right, so there's that. All right, so now what we're going to do is there was an article that came out on News Nation, which is interesting. It was not an article, but a video. It's a video segment that was done by what's Cuomo, the Cuomo dude that used to be Don Lemon's boy on CNN. Mayor, was he the governor? Governor Cuomo's it was Mayor de Blasio, Governor Cuomo's brother. Now, I heard that Governor Cuomo might try to run again. Yeah, Andrew Cuomo was the governor, and Chris is the guy from CNN, right? Again, check the media source. You got a Democrat governor, and then you got his brother as a damn liberal media shill. So there's that. There's no difference. When we talk about the Rupert Murdoch closed information loop on the conservative side, the Democrats got the same thing. All of the former Democrat administration all work for the liberal media. You know what I'm saying? Hot Psaki working for CNN. Chris Cuomo used to work for CNN. Now he's working for News Nation. But he's got this report. And what this report says is that Mayor Eric Adams should prepare for a potential indictment. Now, let me ask you guys this question. What do you all think the chances and possibilities of Eric Adams actually being indicted on the federal charges are? That's my question. Let me know what you guys think.
You know how they say it's not the crime, it's the cover-up? That is very often true because that's how investigators develop an understanding that you knew you did something wrong. A new report out today details a possible cover-up by a close aide to New York City's Mayor Eric Adams. All right? How'd we get here? Early November, massive federal corruption probe into Mayor Eric Adams' campaign comes out of nowhere. Nobody had heard anything about it. The feds are investigating what? Whether his staffers and the mayor were on the take from a foreign government.
So now, how many people knew about this right here? All of these details right here. November 2nd, November 6th, November 10th, last week, this week. Yeah, that's true, Mike. Shout out to Michael R. Michael R says you can indict a ham sandwich. Will he be convicted, though? Probably not. Yeah, I got to agree. If you guys agree with Mike, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. His brother would know about this, or Chris would know about this because his brother was guilty as hell. Yeah, big facts.
Turkey. Days after the raids, and there were a lot of raids, okay, the FBI goes up to Adams at a public event and takes his phone and other devices. So now we learn about this, right? His lawyers deny any wrongdoing. The mayor starts a defense fund. And his lawyers then say someone did act improperly. And they wind up throwing a staffer under the bus. Now, I don't mean that cynically. I'm saying that Rana Abasova winds up being offered up by the administration, okay? She is the longtime aide. She was the one working with Turkey. We also learned that Abasova was searched by the FBI and that she had reportedly lied to investigators. And then we learned that she told colleagues to delete potentially incriminating text messages. And that is what Adams found out about. And that is what they told the FBI. And yet, and this part doesn't make sense, that's why the FBI seized his phones. What I don't understand is, if it's Abasova telling people delete the messages, right, that's proof that she believes there's stuff she doesn't want people to see. Well, why does that mean that you need Adams' phone if he's the one who's given up Abasova to you in the first place?
Now, here goes my question. What do you guys think about this theory? What do you guys think about this theory? And how many people are aware of this quote-unquote Abasova woman and her involvement in this potential scandal, I guess we would call it? Now, here goes my question, right? Why would you go and tell people to delete messages in text message or on an email or something like that? If you don't want stuff getting traced, the best way to do it, and even this isn't guaranteed, is by word of mouth and not writing anything down or transmitting it over any media like internet or phone. Would you guys agree? So I don't know, you know what I'm saying, why these people got a lot of, seem like rookies working for them. Or maybe they're not rookies. Maybe the people that are working for these people are plants to set them up so that if something like this ends up happening, they easily have a trail of breadcrumbs that they can go back on and utilize those breadcrumbs to easily manipulate or get this person out of the way. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said, Mr. I'll treat you right Adams is now dealing with SA allegations too. Yeah, facts. Big facts. Shout out to John Guillory. What's good with it, bro? Yeah. Yeah, he's dealing with those allegations now. He didn't treat that person right.
Let's bring in former federal prosecutor.
hey, that lady was up there screaming, "Get off of me!" And he was like, "Trust me, I got you, baby."
Nato Mariotti. Thankful for you. I will defer to you because you're so much smarter and understand these things better. But I am not feeling it. I think that they have people around Adams doing things that maybe they shouldn't have done. But I don't know why everybody's saying he's about to be indicted. What am I missing?
Well, what you're missing is that a federal judge issued a search warrant
And that means that that judge determined that there is good reason to believe that a federal crime occurred and that evidence of that crime is on his phone. I don't think you need to be a lawyer to know that that's a huge problem for the mayor. And I would tell him, if I was his lawyer, that he should be prepared for a potential indictment. I would assume my starting point would be that he's going to be indicted by the feds.
Well, but that's kind of my point, is that are you guys too quick with these indictments, hence the ham sandwich thing? But now in this let's go after politicians environment that we seem to be all enjoying so much, that's my suspicion here, because you could have gotten the probable cause finding on, we want his phone because we think he didn't delete the stuff from Abasova, so we're going to get these messages that we think exist that condemn her, not Adams. That's a plausible reason that they could have wanted his phone.
Plausible, but unlikely. I think they're taking a very aggressive move here by seizing the mayor's phones. I don't think they would do that unless they thought that they were going to be building a case against them. Absolutely. And by the way, Chris, do you really think he's the unluckiest man in the world? That all these aides around him are committing crimes, trying to get, urge others to delete their text messages, and he has nothing to do with it? It's possible. I suspect federal prosecutors think he's in on it, and they probably have some evidence that led them to seize that phone.
Why haven't they sent him a target letter?
You don't need to. In fact, you usually don't send a target letter until later on in your investigation. He already has attorneys. He's probably having conversations with them. Sending a target letter is just going to get out to people like you and me who are going to comment on it.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to News Nation.
All right, so that really didn't say much of anything. It was just a bunch of speculation, which most of the news actually is. See, like what I want you guys to do as we watch this stuff and as we break it down is I want you guys to sit here and watch how unintelligent most of the people in the news are, and how all it is that they do is dress up in suits and babble about stuff. And the thing that's very dangerous about people dressing up in suits and babbling is that people will believe what a person is wearing or what a person looks like more so than what actually comes out of their mouth, which was a hot bunch of nothing in that particular situation. Would you guys agree? That was a hot bunch of nothing. Yet they'll present it like that's the best media and the best journalism in the world. And they have millions of dollars in resources. So now if we continue to follow this Eric Adams situation, and we've watched News Nation, right? And we listen to this expert and we listen to this analyst and nothing ends up happening. Let me ask you guys this question. What should that do to News Nation's reputation as a source of information in news?
In New York City, it works to ensure the safety of its citizens, that they are doing more with less money. Mayor Eric Adams recently announcing billions of dollars in budget cuts to city services as a result of the increasingly expensive migrant crisis. Now the mayor is attempting to shift the blame here to Washington.
You're talking about defunding our national government.
So now it's interesting, right? Because the media is actually attacking Eric Adams for mentioning and blaming Washington for the migrant crisis. I want to know what you guys' opinion is. Name all the parties who are at fault and to blame and the cause of the migrant crisis, the major ones in New York City and Chicago. Let me know what you guys think. And also, real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. If you guys have not smashed the like button, make sure that you guys take a moment, smash that like button. We got 81 people watching and we got 75 likes. We're almost at that 100. If we can get everybody to take a moment, smash the like button, share the stream out. If you're sharing the stream, tag somebody that you know that either lives in these areas or is interested. That'll get us where we need to be at.
Governor defunded New York City. It's unbelievable when you look at this course and what we are experiencing. I know New Yorkers are angry when they hear about these efficiency cuts. Well, New Yorkers, I want you to know I'm angry also.
Okay, so Eric Adams just announced this week the New York's budget, or within the last week.
So if you're, how would you feel if your politician told you something like this? Hey, I know you guys are not happy with this problem. I know you're not happy with the way that this situation has been dealt with. Guess what? I'm not happy either, but it's going. Yeah, I don't think that that's really what people want to hear.
$11 billion going to deal with the migrant crisis, $11 billion over the next 2 years. And what you just heard there is the top Democrat in the nation's largest city point the finger at Washington, D.C., which is controlled 2/3 by Democrats.
I think in his sentiments are, I'm a native Chicagoan. His sentiments are heard across Chicago as well, where a lot of migrants have been bused by the hundreds on a daily basis for months now. At this point, I think that it has reached a tipping point where you have more people than you can house. You also have to provide social services, health services. They're in the school system, the people who have young kids. There's a lot going on that is going to cost the city money. This is a federal issue because there are no work permits that are coming from the federal government. There has yet to be a substantive immigration reform package that has come from anybody.
But he's also
what is he to do? What are any of the mayors of the major cities that Republican governors have shifted the blame to? And the migrants.
By saying blame DC, the Democratic mayor from New York is saying blame Democrats. Is he not for the most part?
He's saying blame the Biden administration. There are certain things that many have, and he signed onto a letter, as well as Governor Hochul, as well as the governor of Illinois, as well as the mayor of Chicago, just a few weeks ago, saying that the Biden administration needs to do more. That went straight to the White House.
The out-of-control immigration crisis in this country, the root cause of it is Joe Biden and his policies, okay? It's very simple. He just refuses to enforce it. So now everywhere in America is a border state. Joe Biden is deliberately harming the public safety of New Yorkers because of his border policies. He doesn't deter anyone. He doesn't detain anyone. And he certainly doesn't deport anyone. So the entire world's going to keep coming. And you've put it down public safety. You're driving down wages, and you're endangering the lives of migrants.
How big of a problem is this, Brad?
This is a huge political
And you
problem
don't need
for the
Congress.
president and for the Democratic Party at large. And you talk to a lot of, for instance, there's a lot of blue dogs in Congress that are down on the board.
Moderates.
Henry Cuellar, Vicente Gonzalez, who have been preaching to the Democratic Party that we've got to do something. I think the Republican tactic to send these migrants to these cities worked because it had a wake-up call among these inner city.
I want to give
I'm hopeful that our party starts to address this.
Last word here to the first ever employee at the Department of Homeland Security.
Cities that they're being sent to, one, I don't like anybody being used as a political ploy. One. Two, they are sanctuary cities.
Their sanctuary status was not designed by law to exhibit.
But that's what happened
right now. That is not what sanctuary status. Sanctuary status has existed.
And man, it's going down on this. They're just having a whole free for all on there.
In the major cities for over 35 years.
The second thing is I don't think that New Yorkers are going to really blame anybody but the mayor.
Really? You think it's going to come down on him?
So they're going to point to Washington? I mean, I think it's going to come down on him. He's taken his.
That's why he's deflecting and directing in another direction. All right. Thank you for watching. And make sure you go to.
So now here's my question, right? As far as deflecting and directing goes, right? We know what Mayor Eric Adams did. What he did was utilize those contract services that are not nonprofit, right? He utilized those contract services that are not nonprofit. He utilized for-profit, which increased the cost, right? So my question is there any blame to go to the Biden administration when it comes to the migrant crises in these cities? The president of the United States shouldn't be mentioned at all. I'm just curious. What do you guys think? And what about the governor? It's interesting how no one's mentioning Kathy Hochul. You would think that Mayor Eric Adams is the governor of the entire New York state, but he's not. And then we also have to ask, well, why aren't these places getting the sanctuary city funding that they're supposed to get? Doesn't matter to me, but it's just interesting how they go back on their own word. And to think that there were people that actually trust these people, man. Like Eric Adams will go to bat for Joe Biden like crazy. He's actually going to bat for the undocumented bros. And look how all of this stuff is imploding on him. And he got nowhere to turn. And he got nobody to blame but himself. You know what I'm saying? So now, how many people have heard about SB 4? Shout out to T-Rex. T-Rex says, absolutely, it's the president's responsibility to secure the border. Right. And now we can see a pattern of failure, right? Now check this out. There's a pattern of failure with Joe Biden not supporting the sanctuary cities, right? In addition to him not supporting the sanctuary cities, he's also not supporting the states at the border. Governor Abbott has to do all this extra stuff on his own at the border. Texas basically got to run a damn military at the border. Who's to blame for that? And on top of it, you got Joe Biden interfering with what's going on in Texas, which is something that's illegal, by the way, for the federal government to interfere with state business. That's my question. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to get to 100. We're so close. We're getting there. We're getting there. We got 86 live viewers. Shout out to y'all. And we got 83 likes. All we need is 17 likes. Can we get that 17 likes?
Trust Texas. The issue is.
I'm Stephen Dial in Dallas.
I'm Greg Rugen in Houston.
And I'm Rudy Koski in Austin. And this is Texas. The issue is.
Republican lawmakers in Texas delivered on a promise Governor Greg Abbott made to send more aid to funding a border wall and also tightening border security. SB 4, which is very controversial.
See, so now what I want you guys to pay very close attention to is that in Texas, they're actually approving money to deal with the border crisis. The federal government won't even shell out. The federal government won't even shell out the appropriate amount of money to help them deal with the migrant crisis properly in New York or in Chicago. And those aren't the only places dealing with it.
Controversial would allow any officer in the state of Texas to arrest someone they think entered the country illegally.
So now here's my question. Initially, before we get into this, I want to know if you guys agree with this bill. If you guys think that this bill is appropriate and you agree with it and you say, hey, go ahead and go forward with that, throw some flames in the chat. If you guys don't agree with this bill and you think that it's bad business and you think that they shouldn't do that, give me a thumbs down and let me know why you're opposed to it. Let's get it.
Send more aid to funding a border wall and also tightening border security. SB 4, which is very controversial, would allow any officer in the state of Texas to arrest someone they think entered the country illegally. I spoke to North Texas Representative David Spiller, who carried the bill in the House.
States have every constitutional right, authority, and ability to secure their borders. That is a right that we have in Texas, and I would suspect in other states as well. That's not in conflict, in my opinion, with the U.S. Constitution.
SB 4 has been controversial since you guys have rolled this out. Why do you not see it as something that should be controversial?
I understand the arguments that folks on the other side are making. I'm sympathetic to that. It's just a policy decision and approach as to how we want to tackle the problem of illegal immigration. The Biden administration has absolutely failed and refused to secure our border, to protect Texas.
So now let me ask you guys this. I want you guys to name for me, right? Name for me all of the states that the Biden administration has directly failed when it comes to dealing with the border crisis. And now my ultimate question is Biden border support and policy a bipartisan failure? That's my question.
It's to protect our nation and will not enforce current immigration law and policy. And so it is incumbent now for Texans to step up and protect Texas.
The bill, if it becomes law, would empower local and state law enforcement to, if they suspect someone who crossed the border illegally, they'll be able to arrest them and then they will go before a judge. Do you think this can open the door to racial profiling?
SB 4 is very specific and talks about illegal entry.
So now you see, here, do you see what the news guy did? Now, let me ask you guys a question, right? Do you think that news guy should have been concerned with the kind of racial profiling that this particular thing might cause? If you guys think that he should be concerned with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that he should be concerned with that, then give me a thumbs down. Me personally, I think in this particular situation, he should have just asked some questions and kept it moving. I wouldn't really be too worried about that because more than likely it's not gonna be any type of situation involving people that look like you. And if it is, it's probably going to be a very low amount as far as these border stoppings. But this is the issue. A lot of times people automatically like tie in stuff that black people go through to try to sympathize with what other people are doing. And it's like, bruh, just ask the questions. Just ask the questions. If they're concerned about racial profiling, which I don't know how Caucasian Latinos and Caucasian European white people can racially profile each other, but if that's a concern, let them hash that out amongst themselves. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to play Benjamin Crump. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be Johnny Cochran. You know what I'm saying? Just ask the questions. You know what I mean?
If an officer would have to have probable cause to believe that someone crossed into our state from a foreign country illegally at someplace other than a lawful port of entry, and if so, that's a Class B misdemeanor. That is currently under federal law now. So there would have to be probable cause.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you all feel that they need to come up with a queuing system? This is how I feel, and I want to ask you guys if this makes sense. The most important place to reinforce security, to not only regulate, but to secure our borders, is to make sure that all borders and coastlines are secure. The borders and the coastlines are the first line of defense, not only against any kind of invasion, but also against any type of illegal immigration or any other exploitive crime that would exploit American resources. So Texas should be getting massive amounts of support from the federal government to maintain border security, right? If they're able to maintain border security, then they would be able to efficiently process immigration applications. If they were able to efficiently process immigration applications, then it would go from being the undocumented bros to the documented bros. It would just make more sense. What you have is a situation where all of these things are working against each other. So it's functioning inefficiently and everything is falling apart. And this is what you see with it falling apart. Now, if we can sit here and talk about this and break this down on a live stream on YouTube at the spur of the moment, why is it that all of these people making hundreds of thousands of dollars per year on our taxpayer dollars, who have all of the resources, all of the office space, and all of the time to figure this out, can't seem to do it? Make it make sense. Shout out to DeAndre. What's good with it, DeAndre? Make it make sense.
For the officer to do that. So you have an officer making that determination. Then you would take them to an independent magistrate who would also confirm and determine if they believe that existed. And if so, a prosecutor could move forward with that case, or the people under this version of the bill would have the option to say, look, yes, and I'm in lieu of further prosecution, I'm willing, if you'll take me back to a port of entry, I'm willing to go back to the country from which I came.
Isn't this just going to aid in overcrowding prisons, and who pays for that? How will SB 4, if it becomes law?
So this dude said, isn't this going to aid in overcrowding prisons? Let me ask you guys a question. How many of you all think that this is going to aid in overcrowding prisons? If you think that this is going to somehow aid in overcrowding prisons, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys do not feel that this is going to aid in overcrowding prisons, and you think that this guy is just kind of being a weirdo for asking this, then give me a thumbs down. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't know if this dude is aware of this, but the prisons are already full of non-violent offending foundational Black Americans anyway. The small amount of people on the border is not going to completely overwhelm the entire nationwide prison system. We're only talking about Texas here, and we're only talking about a small amount of Texas. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we only need 9 more likes to get 100 likes. So if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment, hit the bell icon, and subscribe. We only need 14 more people to get 100 live viewers, and we can do it, so let's get it.
I mean, it's going to possibly dramatically change at least our southern county jails, right?
I think most people will opt into, instead of being incarcerated in a jail or a facility or a detention facility, would say, look, I'm here. Yes, I got here illegally. Yes, I don't want to be prosecuted and sit in a jail. I'm willing to go back to the country. And so those people would not.
Most of the people, look, once we get to these other articles, a lot of these people, they're not even getting caught by Border Patrol, and they ready to go back. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre says, bro, that is comical. When did they ever care about how many people was locked up? If they were talking about black people, he would say the jails ain't full enough. And he would say there ain't enough jails. And he would say there ain't enough police on the street. And he would say police ain't allowed to use enough deadly force. And he would say police don't have enough autonomy. And they would say the budget ain't big enough. And they would say that civilians should be able to have army tanks and be able to shoot at black people for probable cause. You know what I'm saying?
Be incarcerated. They would be detained temporarily until they get to a magistrate, but then the magistrate would determine the method and manner in which they're transported back to the port of entry, and they would return. So that's not really resulting in further incarceration. As a matter of fact, it would, I think, could be less incarceration than what we have right now, where we're prosecuting people for criminal trespass. That's generally the only tool, unless an officer sees something more serious as an on-view offense, something of a felony or something else. Generally, the only tool that they have now is to prosecute people under criminal trespass.
Do you think there are enough exceptions and carve-outs where this isn't just a law that will just round up people who law enforcement may think enter the country illegally?
We don't want school to be a place where, where we're arresting people, or anything like that. So public or private primary or secondary schools, churches, synagogues, places of worship, places. In fact, I even expanded from what I did before under hospitals to head healthcare facilities, as that term was defined.
Now, let me ask you guys this. If those cities, right, if the sanctuary cities are able to get rid of their sanctuary status, do you all think that the sanctuary cities, once they have shedded their sanctuary status, should adopt a law like this immediately? If you feel like they should, then give me a thumbs up in the chat or some flames. If you guys don't feel like they should, then give me a thumbs down and an angry face.
Under law, which is much broader, and saying, look, if someone needs medical attention or medical care or health care in any way, we don't want to inhibit that in any respect.
Rudy Koski, SB4, in one word.
I'm going to take a word that the representative used and modify it, and my word is conflicted.
So I told you there were some people that actually have a problem with this. You guys can see one of them right there. You know what I'm saying? So now Fox 26 Houston, if I'm not mistaken, that's the channel with Isaiah. That's the channel with Isaiah drunk ass on it, ain't it? Which is the channel that got Isaiah? I think it's Fox 26. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah drunk ass. They have a little segment called green lighting, criminalizing unauthorized entry. Now, isn't unauthorized entry already a crime? That's why they're called illegal immigrants. So, like, I don't understand what the big deal is about this. Like, this kind of stuff should already be in place. That's why you got Deneen in the comment section. Shout out to Deneen asking the question, isn't this stuff already in place? You would have thought the federal government and the state governments are supposed to be enforcing this, but the federal government is not enforcing it.
Welcome back. A trio of controversial measures aimed at reducing the flow of illegal immigration into Texas are poised to become law. In this fourth special legislative session of 2023, Republicans in the majority pounded through money for additional border wall at cost to taxpayers of $1.5 billion. Lawmakers also made just stepping into our state without documentation or permission a state crime.
Now, what's interesting, right? What's interesting about that $1.5 billion, the $1.5 billion that they spent on that wall. Shout out to Donnie Side. What's good with it, bro? The $1.5 billion that they spent on that wall, that's less than how much they're spending on the migrant crisis in New York and Chicago. In New York and Chicago, they're spending between 7 and 11 times that amount. In New York and Chicago, they're spending close to 7 to 11 times that amount. That is wild. That is ridiculous. That is out of pocket, and it's also an abuse of taxpayer dollars. You know what I'm saying? And also, it's just another receipt that we're going to put in front of the Democrats when election season 2022 gets here, or I'm sorry, election season 2024 gets here, and we're going to ask, where's what we got comparable to all of this? Where is the $11 billion that was spent on foundational Black Americans in New York City? And ask them all of these questions across the board in all of these states that are doing all of this extra nonsense.
Already pounded through money for additional border wall at a cost to taxpayers of $1.5 billion. Lawmakers also made just stepping into our state without documentation or permission a state crime and empowered 80,000.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Should that be a crime? You've come in illegally. You know what I'm saying? Where did we get the illegal nature of illegal immigration or illegal entry if it's not being treated as a crime? You guys see what I'm saying? Do you guys see what I'm getting at here? Does that make sense? Like the guy on the news sounds like he's extremely surprised.
In Texas, peace officers with the authority to arrest, detain, and transport illegal migrants. Democrats and nearly all Latino members of the lower chamber expressed outrage, which was openly ignored by the majority.
Impacting millions of Texans, violating our Constitution, violating the Supremacy Clause of the United States.
Hey, that lady is tiny. Her shoulders is like at the she's at her shoulders are at like the height of the table, man. She got to be one of them people that's like 4'11".
Violating the Supremacy Clause of the United States, violating the 14th Amendment, violating the Equal Protection Clause.
Our constituents sent us here to ensure that we secure the southern border, and that's what we're going to do with this bill. Panel, this so-called solution could easily generate as many problems as it solves, as in racial profiling, as in abusive intimidation and extortion, as
let me ask, how is racial intimidation, how is racial profiling going to occur when a large majority of the police officers down in those areas are themselves Latino? Not only are they Latino, they are Latinos that are fully compliant with WS. So they see themselves as that. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for the new subscriber, Andrea Lee Schur. For anybody else, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Also, if you haven't hit the like yet, y'all know what to do. Hit that like.
Racial profiling, as in abusive intimidation and extortion, as in creating a deterrent for immigrant cooperation with law enforcement. I'm going to ask you, Paul, agree or disagree?
This is a law that is targeting people of color, Hispanics specifically.
People of color, Hispanics. They write white on their applications. Here we go. Here we go, y'all. Are y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for this? Just hit 100 likes. Hey, we need 4 more people to watch and we'll hit 100 viewers. Deneen is already pissed. So they're getting started with the BS early. Now, who cares about any of this, right? And shout out to Vega. What's good with it, Vega? They don't really care when the racial profiling is involving us or we're dealing with it. But now they want to try to extend. They want to try to extend the quote unquote colorism out to try to share a plight with these other communities and say, see, they got to deal with the same stuff as black people got to deal with. But while we're actually dealing with it, it's our imaginations. Now, how do y'all feel about this? Let me know.
This is a law that is targeting people of color, Hispanics specifically, and it's empowering anyone to report their neighbor. As Texans, I grew up saying, oh, Big Brother's a bad thing. We are voting Big Brother into existence with this law. So if a person is raped, beaten, robbed, assaulted.
Actually, this isn't Big Brother. I have to completely agree or disagree. That's a very intellectually dishonest argument. This is not Big Brother. This is not Eye in the Sky. This is not Skynet. This is literally people. This is literally the law enforcement branch of our country enforcing the laws. That's all it is. Nobody's putting a bug in anybody's phone. Nobody's checking anybody's emails. Nobody's tailing a car anywhere. It's not Big Brother. Nobody has access codes to your iPhone. Nobody's listening to you through your TV. That's not what this is, bro. This is not Big Brother. We're going to give it to the Court of Public Appeals, Court of Public Opinion. If this is Big Brother, put the single eyeball in the chat. If it's not Big Brother, then give me the thumbs down. Everybody's read the book 1984. This is not Big Brother. As a matter of fact, if what Big Brother constitutes of is actually the exact opposite, a borderless world. But that's another live stream for another day.
Not paid their wages by someone, and they come and they say, hey, you owe me, or that was wrong. There is no provision in this law to protect that person from being reported for being possibly illegal. So what you're going to see is just...
It's been illegal to be black in the United States forever. Just ask Elijah McClain. Oh, my bad, you can't. Just ask Tamir Rice. Oh, my bad, you can't.
All kinds of crimes run rampant in the community because people are going to be afraid to approach law enforcement. This is wrong. It's morally, ethically wrong, and I can't believe we got it through.
The people that you're talking about aren't even from the community, though. You know what I'm saying? The people that you're talking about are not even from the community. They're from another community trying to get access into the community that you're talking about and not do it through the proper means. It's wild how people come up with these kind of arguments, man. I want to know from you guys, how much sense do these arguments make? This is the kind of babble. This is the kind of nonsense that we're going to hear a lot of during the Democratic convention. This is a lot of what we're going to hear election year 2023. You know what I'm saying?
And if it weren't this way, they would have accepted State Rep Ann Johnson's amendments to protect people who are coming because they are victims of human trafficking, victims of rape, assault, or children. And all of those amendments were rejected. And that tells me everything I need to know about this bill.
Marcus Davis, both you and I have spoken out, consistently, loudly against what's going on the border and the lack of security. Right. But is this the right path?
So see, now he got to get the street cred. See, I want you guys to pay attention to how this works. Are y'all seeing how the media is working? So the black dude don't have to be the hero, bro. You do not have to be the hero. You know what I'm saying? But now let me ask you guys a question. Is he going to put the cape on, or is he going to stand on his own 2 feet? If I was him, I'd be like, we've been dealing with racial profiling in the United States ever since 1776. We all right. Good luck. Welcome to America. That's part of the American dream. If you're not white, you get racially profiled. Congratulations. That's what you get for hopping over here. Good luck. Janine says, get ready. It's a bird. It's a shame. It's super black. To the rescue of everybody except black people.
So let's start at the top, because that's where this starts, right? This is a direct result of the impotent leadership in the White House and the Congress, Senate. All those guys are responsible for this because they won't pass legislation that cures the immigration issue. But two, the president will not secure the borders. So it starts there. As a result, lack of legislation produces bad legislation, because this is bad legislation. As a person who has been wrongfully arrested.
Hey, check this out. You see, he got the I am a man hat on. I gotta ask y'all the question, man. Why is homeboy wearing the I am a man hat?
In front of his business, as a person who has been wrongfully detained, taken out of his car, handcuffed, put in the back of a police car while traveling from one business to another, just simply because I was black. As a person who didn't fit the profile of
there we go. There we go. I want to make sure that y'all hear it. We about to go right back to when they first put the focus on him. Let's get it.
Against what's going on the border and the lack of security.
Right.
But is this the right path?
So let's start at the top, because that's where this starts, right? This is a direct result of the impotent leadership in the White House and the Congress, Senate. All those guys are responsible for this because they won't pass legislation that cures the immigration issue. But two, the president will not secure the borders. So it starts there. As a result, lack of legislation produces bad legislation, because this is bad legislation. As a person who has been wrongfully arrested in front of his business, as a person who has been wrongfully detained, taken out of his car, handcuffed, put in the back of a police car while traveling from one business to another, just simply because I was black. As a person who didn't fit the profile of an investor who was handcuffed in front of his investment property because I didn't look like I owned the property. I don't trust.
What does that have to do with Latinos? And my question is, I wonder if you were pulled over by a Latino police officer. Let me ask you guys this. If he was down there in Texas, what are the chances that it was a Latino police officer that pulled him over? Because we've all seen all of the instances of all of the anti-black racism that a lot of these Latino police officers use once they get into the police department. Everybody recalls Sheriff Alex Villanueva from California and what he was on. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, this is that stuff that you got to ask about, man. You got to ask this question. So what's up with you, bro? Like, really trying so hard to relate to this type of situation. None of these people are coming to your rescue. So what are you coming to theirs for? I'm not gonna use my experience that nobody cares about, that nobody's doing anything about, that when I talk about my own experience, my experience is me going crazy, and it's me being a victim, unless I'm using it to try to validate somebody else's experience. Man, if don't nobody validate my experience, then I don't care what yours is. I'm not helping you with a damn thing. Good luck. I'm not about to sit here for all these damn years here in the United States and tell people what we go through and everybody looking at us like we're crazy, unless we're vouching somebody else that goes through that. And then all of a sudden, because we're validating what they say, it's okay for them to receive some kind of some type of attention or some type of legislative effort to help them or whatever. People got to get off that, man. Shout out to JW. JW says, black people are the caregivers of the world. Man, people need to stop with the global mammying. Stop it. I got to agree. If you guys agree with JW, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with JW, give me a thumbs down. JW says, always stomping for other people's interests except our own. Makes me ill. Facts. Facts. Big facts, Jay. If you guys agree with JW, throw some flames in the chat. This is ridiculous. None of these people would sit here and listen to your story if the cops had just beat the brakes off of you and your clothes were barely hanging on you and you were crawling on the ground on your stomach into that newsroom. No one would care. They would call the same police that just beat the brakes off you to come pick you up off the ground. Like, I don't get it. Shout out to JW. Welcome. I appreciate you.
This law in the hands of people who have historically not shown their ability to deal with the capacity that they have, the capacity of authority that they have as law enforcement.
Full disclosure, everybody, half of my family is Hispanic, and I'm proud of them, love them.
Oh my God. Who cares? You're not. Nobody's gonna mistake you for that. Who cares? Why didn't you just comply would be the question. Facts. What, you don't even have to be under arrest. You know what I'm saying? They had a police officer just start messing with you or attack you, and somehow you're supposed to. How do you even comply with that? And shout out to Sean. Sean says, I disagree strictly because this trader is there to do what he is doing. He is already vetted and approved to only be interested in white serving agendas. Yeah, that's big facts. That's big facts. Look at even the order. Like, if you pay very close attention, even to the order and the type of questions that they ask these type of individuals, they never have these people here to make their own valid points. They're only there to be support people. You guys ever notice that? These kind of people are only there to be support people. They're never there to have their own initiatives or their own narratives that they want to tell anybody. They're only there to be the sidekick. People need to stop being the sidekick. You know what I'm saying? And see, and shout out to JW. JW says, in Canada, Latinos ain't our friends either. They are always among the first to tell us to go back to where we came from. They wrongfully assume all Black Canadians are immigrants. And that's projection, because most times, most of the people who tell people to go back to where they came from are not in the place where they came from. You know what I'm saying?
And I'll defend him publicly. Gary, look, what do you think of this law?
You know, this is Marcus actually has got it 100% right. This law is the product of frustration by the failures, primarily of President Biden and his hand-picked head of Homeland Security. They don't enforce the border. We have a wide open border, and it's not just Hispanic. They're coming from all over the world, entering the country because the border's open. So they've tried to do something to alleviate it.
Well, according to Fox News, they're all coming from Somalia. According to Fox, would you guys agree if all you did was sat around and watch Fox News like 95% of the suburbs, then you would be under the assumption that all the migrants from the migrant crisis are coming over from Africa? If you sat around and listened to Fox News or Sky News, you would literally think that the migrant crisis originates in Africa. Based on all of the images that they show. But as we talked about earlier, and it just got verified again here, these people are coming from all over the world. But there's a preferential treatment being given to the Latino migrants. And I got to agree with Wallow J. If you guys agree with Wallow J, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Wallow says they use Africans as the agenda to piss off WS. Yeah, that's facts. That's big facts.
I agree with the panel. It creates new problems that we don't really want. I do like the border wall. I said, let's finish the border wall. So I think that's one thing they can do. But I think that the law is probably going to be declared unconstitutional at some point by some court.
Okay, we got to leave it there. We can talk more. Holly, I know Holly ready to go.
Now check out what JW said. How many? Hey, yo, JW. I don't know if you're in the Discord or not, but if you're in the Discord, and if you're, and we're gonna be talking about this El Monte mayor too, just so y'all know. I know y'all might have saw that on the screen there, but yeah, we're gonna talk about her because she got some stuff going on. But if I want to see some of those Canadian migrant articles, because I haven't really seen anything about that, so that'd be interesting to see. You know what I'm saying? So if you can get your hands on some of those and shoot it to your boy in the Discord, that would be great. All right. So now let me see something. Hold on real quick. Now you guys heard about that bill, right? The bill that we're talking about from just now. What's interesting about it is that the Mexican government is not very happy with it. Now, let me ask you guys this. Why do you all feel that the Mexican government would not be happy about this bill that the state of Texas just passed? And shout out to everybody. We finally hit over 100 in the chat. Make sure you guys throw some flames, radiation emoji in the chat. Wouldn't have been able to get there without you guys, and you guys got us there. So shout out to y'all. If y'all haven't smashed the like button yet, make sure y'all smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure you guys hit the bell. So let's see what they're talking about here.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Anthony Antoine. We start here tonight with two controversial border bills expected to be signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott. SB 3 deals with the border wall, while SB 4 deals with undocumented migrants. Fox 26's Matthew Seedoff is joining us live in Houston here tonight with reaction from lawmakers and police. Matthew.
Well, Anthony, many people are wondering what this is going to look like when it goes into effect. Once Governor Abbott signs this bill into law, it's likely to be met with legal opposition.
This extreme legislation is intentionally broad.
$10 billion.
Shout out to Deneen. I appreciate you, Deneen. Deneen says Rob deserves 1,000 in the chat. If you guys agree with Deneen, give me that thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. And moderators, make sure you guys got your wrenches ready for all the thumbs down. No, I'm just playing. I'm literally just playing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. We don't rock like that here.
Dollars or more that could have been spent on education. Texas lawmakers voicing their frustration.
The Texas solution to a Texas problem.
These bills are the strongest stand that any state has taken.
And satisfaction over two border bills passed Tuesday.
86 ayes and 56 nays. SB 3 is passed.
Senate Bill 3 allocates $1.5 billion to border wall construction.
So another thing I want you guys to pay very close attention to is, do you guys notice we didn't get a chance to see like any city hall action or what this looked like in legislation, but do you guys see how easily, right, and how smoothly this went through in a I almost said in a Confederate state. I mean, it basically is a damn Confederate state. I wouldn't be lying if I said that. You know what I'm saying? How easy and smoothly this went through in a red state, in a southern state, right? Now, here goes my question. Why is it so chaotic in New York and in Chicago? Why is there so much chaos? Why can't anything get done in a smooth and efficient manner? They got this through, no time flat, no problems flat. Why the difference? Shout out to my man, Hurricane IQ. Hurricane IQ said, Rob, we will get those 10,000 live views and subs. Your voice is too powerful to not be heard. I appreciate it. We're going to definitely get there. We're going to definitely get there. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. But we're going to definitely get there.
Well, SB 4 makes it a state misdemeanor to illegally cross into Texas from Mexico, empowering local police to arrest undocumented immigrants.
Trying to dig into the new Senate bill.
Galveston County Sheriff's deputies have spent the last several months taking shifts in Kinney County, helping law enforcement at the border for Operation Lone Star.
We are apprehending large number of migrants on a daily basis, and if they currently have not violated any laws of the state, then
oh, it's all good, JW. We ain't tripping. Nobody tripping, bro. You all good. Some of the best people on the channel are quote unquote faceless. Now, just so people, just in case, you know what I'm saying, we got some new people. Anybody who wants to see my face, I'm too lazy to turn on my camera. The only time I ever turn on my camera is when me and TD Hip Hop Media do our live stream on our channel, TD Just Talking with TD and Rob. So for anybody who's interested, he ain't showing his face. You know what I'm saying? I do show my face. And I got hella old videos with my face on them on the channel. So, you know what I'm saying? People know what I look like. You know what I'm saying? Just so people know. You know what I'm saying?
We're turning them over to immigration. This will in fact mean by their mere presence in the state that they have broken a state law. And then that in turn logistically creates concerns for us. Do we have enough capacity in our jails?
Under SB 4, the misdemeanor charge of illegally crossing into Texas from Mexico leads up to a year in jail. But the charge can also be enhanced to a felony if a migrant is accused of other crimes or doesn't follow a judge's order to return to Mexico. That penalty between 2 and 20 years in prison.
I don't.
Vega been spying. Vega said, I've seen you. You know what I'm saying? I used to show my face when I did the live stream, but I'm telling you, man, nowadays, I be too comfortable. I'm chilling. You know what? I'm going to tell y'all what. I'm going to start doing like 2 live streams a month on members only. And we're going to show the studio. And I'm going to show my face. What y'all think? Should I do that? If y'all think I should do that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't think I should do it, give me a thumbs down.
Don't see the state really being able to do this.
Immigration attorney McGally Candler says SB 4 reminds her of Arizona versus United States, a 2012 Supreme Court case ruling local police can't arrest someone based on their immigration status.
Number one, it's going to be attacked in the courts. It'll be litigated. And I do think it will eventually then make it to the Supreme Court.
A spokesperson from the Houston Police Department gave me this statement tonight saying, regardless of immigration.
Yeah, them shout out to Win Lose a Rug. You watched the old school Abba and Preach videos. That was when I first found out about the YouTube grift. The Abba and Preach videos, man. Shout out to Abba and Preach. Like any video that I dropped back then was getting like 20,000 views. I was like, man, what?
Status, that doesn't matter for police action. We want everyone in Houston to feel safe and be able to talk with their police officers. Once signed, this law likely won't go into effect until March. We're live in Houston tonight. Matthew Seedorf, Fox 26 News.
Yeah, facts. Hey, shout out to DeAndre. Hey, make sure that y'all sub to that channel that DeAndre just put in the chat down there. I'm gonna just tell y'all, it's a small channel, but it's one of the best channels on YouTube. So y'all may as well get in. You know what I'm saying? While you can. You may as well get it in while you can. Now, the Mexican government, believe it or not, they are extremely upset. You know what I'm saying? They are extremely upset. They are actually actively rejecting that Texas immigration enforcement bill. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. Why do you all feel that Texas is not supporting this bill? That's my question. Facts. Shout out to my man Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug says get them early membership bragging rights. Facts. Shout out to the members in this bad boy. You see how many members we got that been around for a minute? When people come to Blacklight, they don't leave, man. I'm trying to tell y'all.
Mexico is warning its citizens to be aware of their civil rights as a new Texas border security bill is set to become law. The Mexican government says it categorically rejects the Texas plan to give state law enforcement sweeping powers to enforce federal immigration laws. Our Capitol correspondent Monica Madden.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Shout out to my man Lloyd Sky 9. Make sure y'all throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for him for the 4 months of membership support. And that's big facts, Deneen. Shout out to Deneen. Deneen says you get paid to talk about things that don't matter. Sad but true. Yeah, that's facts. That is big facts. But that's one of the reasons why you set up a grift channel. You know what I'm saying? You set up a channel that's specifically for the grift. That way, the people that want to, talk about serious topics and important issues, you have those people over there. And then the people that's, they like talking about the important stuff, but sometimes they like the messiness and the fuckery. You got the grift channel set up for. That's what we got reacts for. That's what we got reacts for. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AB Promotions for the month of membership support. Make sure you guys show him some love. You know what I'm saying? Throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for him. Definitely appreciate it. And AB always is showing love with the ducats too.
Has more.
Texas's newest proposal to allow state law enforcement to arrest and deport immigrants is getting pushback from Mexico. The Mexican government writing in a Wednesday press release that they reject Senate Bill 4 and, quote, any measure that contemplates the involuntary.
So now here's the issue, right? Let me ask you guys this. Do you all feel that the government of the United States should have Texas's back on this? Because the Mexican government is not happy about this. It says right here, the government of Mexico categorically rejects any measure that contemplates the involuntary return of migrants without respect for due process. You're only supposed to get due process if you're a citizen, right? That's my question. The due process is reserved as a constitutional right, which means that the Constitution has to apply for you for it to be an implied right. It's a right, not a privilege, right? Am I wrong about that? And shout out to Black Star Racer. What's good with it, bro?
Return of migrants without respect for due process.
Well, the primary concern is that it is likely unconstitutional.
Immigration policy experts note a similar law passed in Arizona.
Okay, let me ask you guys this. Is this unconstitutional? If you guys feel that this is unconstitutional, give me a thumbs up. If you guys do not feel that it's unconstitutional, give me a thumbs down. Let me ask y'all this question. Did they remove stop and frisk, quote unquote, because stop and frisk was unconstitutional? Did that happen? I don't think that happened. But any of that tough on crime, stop and frisk, any of that stuff, they didn't get rid of it. They didn't get rid of any of that stuff because it was unconstitutional. So, and that was dealing with actual U.S. citizens. These were Black Americans who were U.S. citizens. These people, the whole suspicion is that they're not U.S. citizens. If they have documents, they'll be fine, right? You know what I'm saying? Because the documents will then show that they're a citizen who the Constitution applies for, and that should nullify any further investigation on the suspicion of not being a documented citizen or an illegal border crosser. If you're not able to supply documentation and the suspicion of that continues until you're able to prove that you are lawfully in the United States, you're probably either going to get detained or you're going to be expected to show proof, which is how it should be anyway. Yeah, and Eric Adams wanted to bring back stop and frisk. Facts. He about to get stopped and frisked now. And they also said he was getting a little bit too frisky. Ain't it crazy how karma come?
And was subsequently rejected by the U.S. Supreme Court in 2012.
The Supreme Court was very clear that states do not have the authority under the Constitution to enforce immigration law.
There's nothing unfair about ordering someone back from where they came if they arrived here illegally.
Supporters argue Texas's bill is different.
It's not in conflict with the precedent set in Arizona versus U.S. It's not preempted by existing federal immigration law. It's not in conflict with federal immigration law. And Texas has the constitutional right, authority, and ability to protect its borders.
Only one Republican in the entire legislature voted against the bill, the Senate's chairman of border security.
We are setting a terrible precedent for the future by invalidating our obedience and faithfulness to our Constitution.
While Democrats warn this could lead to racial profiling of Hispanic Texans.
So again, let me ask you guys this. Are the majority of police in Texas, in these areas, Hispanic? Here's my question that I need everybody in here to answer. How will this lead to quote unquote racial profiling of Hispanic Texans? Is there anybody in here that can explain to me how that particular situation will occur? because I don't understand. Do you guys remember when that Uvalde school shooting occurred earlier in the year? If you guys remember that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't remember that, give me a thumbs down. Do you guys remember what those police officers looked like in Uvalde? My question for you guys is, what did they look like? Hell, what did the shooter look like?
Mexico is preparing warnings for its citizens, instructing its Texas consulates to remind them of their civil rights.
Monica Madden, KXAN News.
And authors of SB4 say they do expect legal challenges. Governor Greg Abbott says he looks forward to signing the bill into law, calling it historic progress for border security.
It's funny how all of these politicians call everything that they do history, and it's not. But that's neither here nor there. So now we are moving out west. And we're moving out west to Denver. Okay. Now they got a lot of insanity going on in Denver. And we're going to talk about it because there's not too many people that are talking about how the migrant crisis is affecting Denver. Most of the content that you see on YouTube is about New York and Chicago. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at this video here, and this is a video from Denver 7. And what's going on in Denver is that migrant shelters are getting shut down all over the place. Shout out to JW. All right, bro. I appreciate you checking us out, man. Make sure you come back. They're shutting down these shelters in Denver. Now, how many people knew that Denver was getting shipments of migrants? Denver is smaller than Chicago and New York. So that means that they have less space to work with and they have less resources to work with. So let's see what's going on in Denver.
Taking Denver's migrant crisis to the steps of the White House. Mayor Mike Johnston joined Chicago's mayor to meet with White House leaders and members of Congress yesterday.
Look at that. Do y'all recognize who is this guy? Who is that guy? Say he looks familiar, doesn't he? That guy looks familiar, doesn't he? Yeah, shout out to Jesse. Because Jesse is down there and he knows all about it. Oh, we're going to definitely talk about Denver. Denver's got a homeless people problem too. When I start the Box Bros series, we're going to be talking about Denver a lot. We're going to be talking about Denver a lot. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody watching. We got 115 likes. Shout out to y'all. Definitely appreciate that. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button and get us to 150, that'd be great.
Yesterday, pushing for federal action.
More than 100 migrants arrived in Denver today. So the city now has served more than 26,000 people since the end of last year at a cost of nearly $2 million per week.
Tonight, Denver 7's Claire Lavazorio is telling us about a hotel shelter closure, despite the increase in people needing help.
When this hotel closed.
So look at this. I want y'all to see this, man. It's going down the same in every single one of these places. Every single one of these places is dealing with the same situation. They're not able to maintain their resources because they're not getting enough federal funding, and the migrant crisis is imploding as we speak. Shout out to Technosiege. Technosiege says the Black Colonel Sanders is over there too. Now that's interesting, right? Because Brandon Johnson absolutely looks like the Black Colonel Sanders. Chicago Fried Chicken. If you guys agree with Technosiege that Mayor Brandon Johnson looks like Colonel Sanders, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
on Monday, about 30 migrants will be transferred to 4 other shelters across the city. I talked to one woman here from Venezuela who says she has a short-term plan, but no long-term solution for a place to stay. After a 3-month journey through the jungle, this woman from Venezuela is one of 2,000 migrants now living in Denver.
We're getting by day, searching, getting used to life here because
So
it's
hold on real quick. Let me ask you guys a question. What would be where would it be easier to survive at? Where would it be easier to live at? Would it be easier to live in the jungle or in Denver? That should be a pretty easy question. Because in the jungle, like there's nobody, like you might be out in the cold, you might have all these issues going on, but at least you got people that are willing to help you. You got people that's doing stuff for you, cooking food, opening doors and all that. In the jungle, it ain't nothing but rattlesnakes, alligators, poisonous frogs, diseases. Yeah, I'm going with Denver. Shout out to Deneen. Oh man, I can't. Man, I can't mess with Carlson this morning, man. Oh man, Carlson crazy, man. Carlson said, "Oh my goodness, it's getting so cold outside. That poor thing, that poor woman, she might have to do OnlyFans to survive." Man, I'm done. Oh man. Shout out to Deneen. Deneen said she's definitely caring for her hair. Look, man, listen. I don't know what's going on, man.
very difficult as well, the English language, the city, the cold, but we'll get there.
She's staying at the Comfort Inn in North Denver, one of 5 hotels being temporarily used as shelters for migrants. Though numbers are still high, the city says 108 people arrived in Denver Friday. The city will stop using the Comfort Inn as a shelter next Monday. Denver's Mayor Mike Johnston led a group of mayors this week who met with the White House to request financial help for the migrant crisis.
Part of the conversation certainly was about the importance of the presidential supplemental funding request, which also includes support for communities and
So now this is my question, right? Why are the Democrats just refusing? Why are they just refusing to do anything? Why are they refusing to do anything? They know that they're supposed to be giving these sanctuary cities money and support, and they just not. Make it make sense.
continue our work to accelerate the process of work permits.
Amanda Blaurock, executive director of the Village Exchange, says funding is tight for her nonprofit that provides services.
Hey, shout out to the 234 to the 330. My man Akron Zippy. Rubber City Gangsters in the building. You know what I'm saying? Became a member. Make sure you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat for Akron Zippy. Shout out to him. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Hey, Carlton about to drop some ducats. He about to go to Denver right now. Carlton got his regular money, and then he got his simp spending billfold. You know what I'm saying? The simp billfold stay thick. You know what I'm saying? He about to go sing to her too. He about to be like I will. He gonna hit the high note. He gonna be like, I treat you right, I will. I treat you right, I will. And she gonna be like, no comprende. She gonna be like, no comprende, simple. Oh man, Carlton gonna be like, yeah, call me Poppy. She gonna be like, I call you simple. Oh man, that's hilarious.
For hundreds of migrant families each week, with limits to the length of time people can stay in shelters. Blau Rock is working to support legislation to speed up migrants' ability to legally work in the U.S.
Because 14 days as an individual and you're out, or 37 days as a family, well, what's next? That doesn't change your legal status.
Shout out to my man YGLTB1. Make sure you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat and show YGLTB1 some love. My man YGLTB1 says both sides of the political spectrum are heavily invested in allowing them to cross the border and then being parceled throughout the United States to be the new working class in a concerted effort to undermine and replace us. Yeah, big facts. Big facts. I agree with that. The efforts for containment is absolutely real. You know what I'm saying? If you guys agree with YGLTB1, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, then give me a thumbs down. And also make sure you guys show him some love. And also, not only is YGLTB1 a member and has been a member for 3 months, my man YGLTB1 dropped big ducats. You know what I'm saying?
That is, you still not have a job.
As for this woman, after the Comfort Inn's closure, she plans to stay at another hotel nearby for a week with money she saved, and from there, navigate her new life day by day.
We can't lose hope. We knew it wasn't going to be easy, but it's not impossible.
I'm Claire Lavazorio for Denver 7.
Hey, I'm gonna email Denver 7 and see if I could get see if I can see what encampment site she at, Carlton, so I can go call her an Uber and get her over to you. You know what I'm saying? She gonna be able to use them ducats too. She gonna make you some better quesadillas than Applebee's too, bro. Oh man. Oh, that shit is crazy, man. That shit is crazy. So now, I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but a entire homeless migrant encampment in Denver, it got swept away by the city. Like, the city swept it away like they swept it away like they was at the Apollo.
Arriving in Denver, as we have, and they'll say they just want to work. They want to find a safe place to stay. Yet some are living on the streets after they've exceeded the time allowed in Denver shelters. Our Angela McCall was at an encampment of migrants that then got swept by the city.
Living on the street isn't what they wanted, but for now, the migrants living here accept it. It's their only option. Jeremy has been living in this tent for more than 2 weeks.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Shout out to Mo Facts. Yeah, that's big facts. Passport bros ain't gonna need their passports this winter, bro. Nah, they ain't gonna need them. They all coming here. Swept away like a San Francisco before Summit. Facts. The conditions where they are gotta be better than living in the cold in Denver in a damn tent outside of downtown. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta be better. It's gotta be better. There's no way that you came to the United States to want to live like this. No way. I don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to DeAndre with the $5 super chat. My man DeAndre says, this show good as hell this morning. Shout out to you, Rob, in the chat. Much love, family. Yo, shout out to you, bro. Definitely appreciate it. Make sure you guys show him some love. He is the 7th stream sponsor. Shout out to DeAndre.
He's run out of time in Denver's shelter system, and now he's being told to leave here too. The city says this is parkland, no camping or overnight sleeping allowed. Denver Parks and Rec says people were notified for the past 8 days. Jeremy says this is the first he's heard anything.
We're going to have more migrants coming throughout the whole month.
Okay, well, we folks need a place to stay right now, tonight. So where would you like me to take them?
Amy Beck is a homeless advocate and wants a different solution.
So now, what I want you guys to pay attention. They're literally treating the migrants the exact same way as they're treating the homeless. But if you notice, there's only migrants in this particular area. Do you guys notice that? There's only migrants and there's no homeless people around. Hey, do y'all agree with DeAndre? DeAndre said the weather is way better in Denver than Venezuela right now. Fight me if you think different. Yeah, I gotta agree. Shout out to James Sumler. What's good with it, bro? Mofax says this is like camping out for show tickets. It's worth the trouble for them to get their tickets to the American dream. Yeah, that's facts. That's for them. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Shelter option.
They have kicked them out of the hotel, and the next day they are in violation of the camping ban.
Others from Venezuela worry the same will happen to them.
Claro, porque también me puede pasar a mí porque yo me sacan de donde yo estoy, también yo tengo que dormir en la calle.
In a week, Ramon will be out of the shelter.
Igual que yo son venezolano igual que yo, todos somos seres humanos, todos sufrimos, todos queremos un apoyo.
Jeremy knows for now, life is out here.
Wait a minute, what?
Así son las cosas. Arriba, más arriba.
Rules are rules.
Sí, porque es verdad, tienen sus razones y eso son cosas que tienen que respetar.
Even as he settles across the street, he knows others will join him when their time is up.
Esto se va a poner más lleno, cada vez más personas.
The mayor's office says the encampment was moved due to it being on Parks and Rec property, also adding that there have been open fires and other concerns there.
So now here go my question. Who's setting open fires? Who's up there setting fires at the encampments? And why are they doing it? Somebody make it make sense. Hey, you wasn't supposed to catch me laughing at that shit, man. Hold on, though. Since you did, though, we got to bring it back. Wait a minute. Oh, man. Oh, hey, it looked like they was about to paraglide. They was about to take flight like that car did in Canada. You know what I'm saying? When Loser Rugg said, I said the same thing. What? Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at this like, all right. They got the paraglider. They got the paraglider running across the street sounding like two Speedy Gonzaleses. Like, that shit crazy. Look at this. I'm mad too. He got an attitude. I'm gonna do what I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do what I want to do. Hey, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys show my man Black Star Racer some love with the $10 super chat. He says Denver is about to look like Venice Beach. Bro, back to what YGLTB1 was saying. Eventually, looks like what they're forcing. The entire United States finna look like Venice Beach. The whole United States. You know what I'm saying? They finna make the whole United States look like Venice Beach, bro.
He knows others will join him when their time is up.
Esto se va a poner más lleno, cada vez más personas.
The mayor's office says the encampment was moved due to it being on Parks and Rec property, also adding that there have been open fires. And
oh man, y'all made me miss it.
Notice was provided,
Hold
and
on,
one of the rangers told me that he was sharing that with people that they would have to move for the past. Join him when their time is up.
Esto se va a poner más lleno, cada vez más personas.
The mayor's office says the encampment was moved due to it being on Parks and Rec property, also adding that there have been open fires.
We ain't about to watch that again.
They say notice was provided.
Shout out to Black Spider. What's good with it?
Sharing that with people that they would have to move for the past 8 days or so. But this is a changing population every day, with new people arriving by the day to this encampment and others leaving regularly to find work. So I spoke with one person who said he was told yesterday he would have to move. Every single other person I asked told me that today was the first that they heard about it.
We're headed towards a really urgent point here, Angeline, because we've got the weather starting to turn, and we see a lot of folks still coming up from the southern border. And
so now here go my question. As the weather gets even worse, my question is, what do y'all think that they about to do with all these migrants when the weather starts to turn? What's going to happen? Are they going to make any changes? I guarantee you, like a lot of these rules and a lot of these 60-day shelter stay rules and all of this stuff that they have, I guarantee you that some places they're going to go back on their word on a lot of that stuff. And I guarantee you that New York City, that budget, man, Mayor Eric Adams, he's going to burn the rubber on that budget all the way down to the rim. That budget finna get burnt all the way down to the rim. No doubt, Hurricane. Appreciate you being here, bro.
This issue is not going to get resolved anytime soon.
No, and that's something that we asked Jeremy. We asked him, what do you think about this? You're having to move. And he says, every single day, more people are coming out of the shelter system and they have no place to go.
See, that's a good question, Deneen. Do you guys notice that when it comes to the migrant crisis, the same thing that happened to the flu and the cold during the pandemic has happened to the homeless people during the migrant crisis? Does anybody notice that? If you notice that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't notice that, give me a thumbs down.
So they just go across the street, essentially, and they set up a camp, and they hope that they're able to find a tent. And so this is really just the beginning. And we've asked the mayor in the past if he treats migrants and the local homeless community as different. And he says that they have different concerns. But at the end of the day, both of them are ending up on the streets like this.
Looks a whole lot similar at the end of the day when you watch a camp being moved and people just saying, where do I go?
Here go my question. What was going on when they first came up here? That's probably the exact same thing that they were saying then. So now we got a little report here, and this report is from Fox 31 Denver. And Mo Fax might get what he was asking for. You see, they got the little icicles around the migrant word there. See, little icicles. He said that. Let me see. I'm just trying to see if I can find that comment. While I'm looking for this comment, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, make sure y'all smash the like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, make sure you guys take a moment, hit that bell, and please share the stream to your social media. All right. So now, everybody throw some flames in the chat too for Mo Fax. He finna get his wish. Migrants and the cold.
Another cold night for people living in encampments in Denver. Growing number as migrants time out of their stays in city shelters.
Another 118 migrants arrived in Denver today, and many come from a climate where they've never experienced weather as cold as it gets right here in the Mahi City. Fox 31's Rogelio Mata is showing us how families are trying to stay warm and when the city does step in to help. Rogelio.
Yeah, Eric and Jeremy, these are conditions these people have been forced to endure since they were bused here from the southern border, camping in tents in sometimes below freezing temperatures. The city of Denver.
Now, did they get forced? Has anybody been forced? Like, you can't come somewhere voluntarily and then say what's going on where you came. You're getting forced. Like that's not true. That's not correct. They're not discussing this in an accurate way. You know what I'm saying? And they haven't been discussing it in an accurate way since we've been talking about this. For how long now? How long have we been talking about the migrant crisis? How long has it been? Because you guys remember, we were actually talking about the migrant crisis before we turned it into the Undocumented Bro series. So we've been talking about this for a while. Exactly. Shout out to Deneen. Forced is the transatlantic slave trade. Facts. Forced is getting expelled from Oregon. You know what I'm saying? What's going on here is not forced. They're getting information from these cartels and coyotes and then following the leads that they get. That's not forced. You know what I'm saying?
Did house them, many of them, for several weeks, but as they time out, they try to find any way they can to be able to survive. This mother says her family situation isn't easy because of the cold weather. She asked not to be identified. She's living in a tent with her husband and 3 children, 8, 10, and 12 years old. She says her family likes the city and would prefer to stay if they can. Like other families, they arrived in Denver during the change of the season where elements are like no none they've ever seen before. He says at night they all sleep with multiple layers when the temperature falls. Juan Carlos is also living in a tent with his wife and their toddler. They've been out here for several days, timing out of the city-funded shelters.
The people inside, they say that they want to help, but just yesterday they go upstairs and they say, family, you can go tonight, you can sleep there, but in the morning you have to be outside.
It's a nightly gamble for the family. Do what you can to stay warm, hoping you don't succumb to the weather.
Well, I think I have to just cover with all the blankets that I have, and that's it. I cannot do anything more.
Juan Carlos says his family can brave the elements while they're all healthy, but in this weather, there's a fine line between staying healthy and falling ill.
I have the child. You know, the child is 2 years, so I don't want him to be sick. That's the problem. If he's sick, the medicines, where I go.
The circumstances are what they are for these families. All they have is each other and their strength of will.
The situation is this. We have to just...
Hey, shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre said, bro, this is wild. Rob, did you do a show on how tents wasn't good enough for these migrants? So when they saw their tent accommodations, they demanded to go back to the hotels. Bro, yeah, actually, we actually talked about that. And actually, we're gonna talk about that next. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about that next. And that's big facts, DC Precise. DC Precise says, also, like you've mentioned before, the situation is such ridiculous theater that it distracts from the Ukrainians and some burritos they're silently flying in, giving sponsor families and houses and dollars to. Facts. That's like what Brandon Johnson had snuck in when he was talking, and he was talking about these quote-unquote pre-established community networks that these people had. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Keldrick. What's good with it, bro?
Yeah. Keep going.
All right, so there's that. All right. So hold on real quick.
To provide shelters for asylum seekers, they are running.
Wait a minute, hold on. We got to watch this. We about to watch this real quick, and then we're going to get to the next one. I didn't even see this. Some migrants choose cold over charter buses for fear of deportation and kidnapping. But wait a minute, though. In the last one that we watched, they was just complaining about it. And shout out to my man Keldrick. Keldrick is an OG member. Like OG, long time subscriber. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all show him some love.
Running into a problem. ABC 7's Carrie Minix is here to explain.
Dylan, the city is sending buses to this area to pick up migrants and send them to a hotel. But some migrants are refusing to get on.
See, DeAndre, if you ask for it, you shall get it. You ain't think you was about to get it that quick, did you? Yeah, they got standards. They uppity. You know what I'm saying? Uppity migrant swag. Shout out to my man, Keep It 100. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, these migrants been watching the Keep It 100 channel, man. They trying to run around with uppity. They trying to run around with uppity migrant swag.
Distrust and confusion among migrants. The city trying to provide rides to a temporary shelter to migrants who are camping on the street. But some migrants like Abraham Rachanel fear the buses could deport or even kidnap him. He says he's been...
Man, that's what that, hey, man, listen, man. If you dress somebody that's dressed like that, oh shit, hold on, what just happened? Hold on real quick. I don't know what just happened there. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Somebody, if you're dressed like that, oh man. Oh yeah. We talked about that, Keldrick. At that food kitchen, yeah, they was going wild out there. Yeah, we talked about that in my stream. I want to say a couple days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. But I want to show y'all this dangerous individual right here. Yo, listen, man, if you wearing a hat with sequins on it and you wearing a damn daisy dandelion yellow hat, this dude right here is one of the most dangerous people that you will ever come in contact with. People who are safe to be around do not dress like this. I bet you he got sandals on with this too. He got some dusty leather Jesus sandals. And I bet you he's got a blade that's as tall as Manute Bol tucked somewhere. See, shout out to RJ. My man RJ agrees. Listen, this is an individual right here that is disturbed. Do y'all hear me? If you see this bright ass hat coming out of somewhere, run. Grab your loved ones, run. Because this right here, this is the mismatch of danger. I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? This dude right here is criminally insane. Criminally insane. Not only is he criminally insane, he's the most kind of dangerous criminally insane. He's criminally insane. He'll do anything. He'll do it up close and personal, and he don't even understand English. So when you be like, stop, to stop. Look at it. Migrant distrust and confusion. You know his ass is confused, but I guarantee you when it's time to get violent, there's nothing that he's confused about. The only thing that's confused on him right now is his outfit. That's it. Man, that's wild right there. That's crazy. That outfit is, shout out to my man We Lit. That's crazy work. I want to see him and Hassan Campbell in front of Bronx River. You know what I'm saying? In a celebrity death match. That's what I want to see. Carla said his eyes looking Carla said his eyes look extremely disturbed. That's all. Listen, man, his eyes look like he just got finished with 3 bottles of Wild Irish Rose. One of them, bro, he got a zombie knife. One of them Crocodile Dundee knives is what he got. Big facts. This one of them dudes that could be 35 or 53. And you would believe whatever he said. I'm 35. Oh, I mean, you done been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? You walked up here and wearing that. You know what I'm saying? I am 53. I have 17 grandkids. I believe that too. D-Side said, you just know bruh's favorite rapper is still 50 Cent. His favorite rapper is 50 pesos. You know what I'm saying? Man, that's crazy.
To trust the city.
Por miedo no fui con el otro bus.
And he moved. He got to anybody that talk like that. Listen, let me tell you something. Y'all getting some street lessons from Robb. Not you already look crazy, right? So we've already established that you're dangerous. People that bob and weave when they talk are extra dangerous. They're extra volatile. You know what I'm saying? He bobbing and weaving. Y'all ever seen Mike Tyson when he talk? He bobs and weaves. You ever seen Hassan Campbell when he talks? He bobs and weaves. If you bob and weave while you're talking, if you ever are in a conversation and somebody starts bobbing and weaving while they're talking, go away. All right, I'll talk to you later, bro. You know what I'm saying? Watch him. He about to start bobbing and weaving like, you know what I'm saying? Like DMX. DMX used to bob and weave when he talks. Look.
Nell says he's ready to trust the city.
Por miedo no fui.
See? when you start doing all that bobbing and weaving when you talking, nah, man. I wouldn't even interview this cat. I'm not doing that one. I'm not doing that one. I'll talk to any of these other motherfuckers, but I ain't talking to him. I am not talking to him. And he's got that daisy hat on that look like a damn roll of paper towels or a tablecloth made into a hat on top of a woman's beanie. Yeah. Hassan Campbell does it with an axe in his hand. He probably got a damn axe somewhere in his tent. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, nope. But I tell you what, though, if you get into some shit, See, the way that people like this maintain friendships is because they are so crazy that if you cool with them, if y'all get into a fight, it could be 10 people there. He's kicking everybody's ass and somebody going to the coroner's office. That's how people like that keep friends. I'm dead serious.
He's ready to trust the city.
Por miedo no fui con el otro bus, pero si me salía otra oportunidad, estoy listo para ir a mi destino.
With Title 42 ending Wednesday, the situation here could get a whole lot worse, as 6,000 crossings are expected by the city a day. Reporting from downtown El Paso, Carrie Mannix, ABC 7.
All right. Thank you, Katie. Carrie, excuse me. Well, city officials said this past week that migrants would start being processed on the international bridges. To do this, it would pull resources from other parts of the border. They warned it could cause delays for those trying to cross the bridge into the U.S. Now,
so as you guys can see, there's no new influx. Shout out to Cameron. What's good with it, bro? Bro, that hat is wild, bro. That hat is wild. They just keep pulling resources from all over. And they're not getting any influx of funding or new new resources. So now what we got here is they just had too much. They had too much. And now they're ready to go. So this is what DeAndre was talking about. A lot of these migrants, they've been in the conditions, not just in Denver, but all over the place. But this is in particular about Denver. You know what? That's a good question, Danique. Ain't nobody dress over there. I don't know why she was wearing fur inside of the studio. All I know is that it's $20,000 alpaca. That's the only thing I know about it. You know what I'm saying? And you don't rub that shit. You blot that shit with club soda. That's the only thing I know about that fur that she had on. You know what I'm saying? That's the that's the only thing I know about that fur. You know what I'm saying? Oh man.
First up here at 10, we're taking a deeper dive into the experience inside migrant shelters from the migrants themselves. Hundreds being discharged, many others still in shelters.
And many that we talked to are desperate to get out and on their own and earn a living without breaking the law. Fox 31's Rogelio Mata spoke with the mother of a 10-month-old who has days left in a shelter. He's on it tonight in studio. Rogelio.
Oh yeah, that's big facts. That's big facts. And that last dude that was on this that we were talking about, you could tell he was on some shit. He was high right then during that interview. He was high during that interview.
The woman here with her husband and her child, they came here from Venezuela. The three have been living in a shelter, but her experience has her wanting a new life outside.
Now, let me ask y'all this question. And I'm really asking this question to the women in the chat. If you had a baby that was this young, would you try to get that baby from Venezuela to the United States on foot? Would you do that? If you would do that, give me a thumbs up. If you wouldn't do that, give me a thumbs down. To the men, would you let your girlfriend, baby mom, or wife bring the baby to the United States walking from Venezuela? That's not happening. If it's my little baby, if I got anything to do with it, oh hell no. And that's a big fact, Deneen. They absolutely are hiding the criminality. I did a video about this, and the video is on members only. But you know how YouTube is. People may not have seen it. My question for you guys is, how many people are aware of the Latin American prison crisis? If you're aware of the Latin American prison crisis, give me a thumbs up. If you're not aware of the Latin American prison crisis, give me a thumbs down. Like Torian Rain always says, this is the new criminal class, and he's right. Yeah, and that's facts, bro. I got to agree with DSA. Them dudes don't care about their fam like that. We not them, they not us. Yeah, that's big facts. Because if you listen to a lot of them just left their families down there in the countries that's allegedly so bad. What you leave your family down there for? How could you do that? How could you do it? I'm not built like that, man. I couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? There is no possible way that I could leave my loved ones in some situation and me myself come to a better a situation that I perceived as better. Now I can help them get to a better situation. You know what I'm saying? I can help them get to a better situation, but I can't leave them in a bad situation and trot my ass up to a good situation. Sorry, I can't do that one. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that one. And shout out to everybody that's watching, man. We got 136 likes. We almost at that 150. We only need 14 more. So if everybody can take a moment, smash that like button. If you haven't hit the bell, make sure you guys hit the bell. And also, if you guys have not shared the stream, make sure you guys share the stream to your social media. Shout out to Dre D. What's good with it, bro?
And her child, they came here from Venezuela. The three have been living in a shelter, but her experience has her wanting a new life outside, one that won't be easy for them to get. Abdiel Araujo holds her 10-month-old baby Adrian outside of tents near a migrant shelter. It could be her own family's fate in just days. She says she would prefer to leave the shelter sooner rather than later. The other option is finding a job, earning a living, and moving into a home, something Araujo and her family are eager to do. She says she'd love to move into an apartment or a house, but even she's aware of how high rents are in Denver. This option might be more difficult to achieve since the family still has to go through the work permit process, a lengthy and tedious process that can last months. As for life in the shelter, Araujo says city inspectors often come to her family's door. She says one of the city employees doing inspections found her crying and asked if her husband had hit her. She said she was crying because her child was sick from the cold weather. The family, she says, isn't even allowed to bring their own food into their shelter room. She says city staff make them throw away any outside food or just take it.
Oh, yeah, that's big facts. That's big facts. Now, let me ask you guys the question. You guys see what T-Rex said, right? T-Rex said the thought is that the come up is here to make them. They'll come up here, make the money, and then remit it back home. Immigrants do it all the time. That's facts, right? It's a lot of reasons why they do that. It's a lot of reasons why they do that. My question for you guys is, do y'all know the reasons why they do it? Because there's a lot of reasons why they do it. I'm going to ask you guys this. How many people know what the exchange rate is for the American dollar versus, I don't know, I believe Venezuela has pesos too, but versus the Venezuelan peso. If anybody knows what that exchange rate is, let me know.
Get away altogether. We took that issue to the city of Denver, and they provided some clarification why this is done. Migrants are allowed to bring shelf snacks into their rooms, but perishable foods are not allowed. The city says the rooms do not have mini fridges, and food gone bad is a health and safety concern. Regarding inspections of migrants' rooms, the city says the latest is done at 8 o'clock at night, and later inspections are only done in cases of emergencies like domestic violence, in which case guests are asked to leave with a 24-hour notice. All of this could be a distant memory, Araujo says, for her family if they could start earning their own keep, but competition for jobs proves to be another obstacle. She says it isn't too often that Venezuelans are even given jobs, adding that most jobs are given to Mexicans. So I actually spoke with an immigration.
She said that Venezuelans aren't given jobs. Most of the jobs are given to Mexicans. So shout out to Dre D. Dre D said with Venezuelan, it's like 50-1. With Mexico, it's like 20-1. So not only is the money more liquid, right? But they get more bang for their buck. It's worth more. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they work a couple years over here and then come back home and be living like kings. You know what I'm saying? They playing the currency exchange game, except for instead of using an actual exchange, they just come here and get the money.
Today, who told me there are plans for an event to give these families some legal counsel. The intent would be to at least start the process of getting them legal work permits, though those plans are still being discussed. In studio, Rogelio Mares, Fox.
Yeah, so that's wild. So now you know what I'm saying? They got a rude awakening out there in Denver. They got a rude awakening out there in Denver. Now, you guys saw how they had the tents and all that all out in the street. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of wild out there. The temperature is getting crazy. On top of all of that, something crazy happened. I'm going to let y'all see what happened. And shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen says $1 to Venezuela, convert US dollar to Venezuelan Bolivar. That's what it's called. Sobrano, $1 $35.4. So imagine that. You get an instant pay raise with US dollars if you're from one of those countries. You know what I'm saying? Now check this out right here. This is insane.
Person is dead, another hurt after a group of migrants were attacked by a man wielding a knife. You see that pointy object right here in his hand. Now, we know that our crews were in the area and watched this whole violent encounter unfold. Our Vicente Arenas witnessed the chaos and has more tonight.
We were out here working on a different story when we saw this fight breaking out. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. At one point, I saw a group of people trying to fight off a man, a woman swinging a stick trying to fend him off. All this taking place outside the Denver Rescue Mission and the Samaritan House.
Cell phone video shows a scene unfolding.
Now what is going on here? Because like what they showed here is they show this woman attacking this man with this stick. You guys see that?
House.
Cell phone video shows a scene unfolding that continued to grow more violent. The people shown here fighting off the man told me he had a knife in his hand and had been bothering them since Wednesday night. They say the man came looking for problems. They're migrants from Venezuela. And the attacker was telling them.
Now, I bet you this quote unquote attacker, which is the guy that we actually saw get attacked in the video, I bet you he's actually a American citizen from Denver who's homeless. Yeah. Carlton, you about to have me dying laughing, bro. I ain't even supposed to be laughing. That stick was loud. Yeah, that's why he was so mad, bro. Exactly, DSA. Man, listen, man. Snatch your ass up, man. You gonna hit me with that damn stick? Seriously?
Trying to fend him off. All this taking place outside the Denver Rescue Mission and the Samaritan House.
Cell phone video shows.
And you see, like, he was backing up too. I want to make sure y'all see this. He was backing up. But look, can we all take a moment and look at the lazy ass dog? Now, if it was really some shit going down, wouldn't the dog have attacked him? If it was some shit going down and this dude wasn't somebody that was known and around in the area, that dog would have attacked. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. That dog just sitting there not doing shit.
House.
They ain't even holding the leash. Look, the dog is loose. It's not even being held on the leash. DSA said it depends on if the dog was about that life or not. Yeah. Hey, James, you got me dying. The dog said, I stand with black. The dog said, I stand with Black America. You know what I'm saying? Hold your, he said, hold y'all own nuts. You know what I'm saying? Carlton said, dogs these days don't fight. That dog lazy as hell. They're not even worried about it getting crazy neither. She's standing there next to it, and the leash is all down and everything. That dog ain't doing a damn thing. Yeah, and I gotta agree. That's why, shout out to Black Spider. Black Spider says them folks come from lawlessness, bringing that ish over here. That's a fact. That's one of the reasons why you saw it get so crazy in Brighton Park. Not just with the migrants, but the people that live there trying to snatch up the older woman. You know what I'm saying? David, I know I'm dead too. This dirty ass dog just sitting there not doing shit next to a pair of underwear. The dog just sitting there trying not to get hit with the stick because he want to stick his nasty ass head in that dirty set of drawers that's sitting right next to the tree.
Cell phone video shows a scene unfolding that continued to grow more violent. The people shown here fighting off the man told me he had a knife in his hand and had been bothering them since Wednesday night. They say the man came looking for problems. They're migrants from Venezuela, and the attacker was telling them they were not welcome here and for them to return to their country. They told us they believe.
I got the feeling that's not what happened. What I actually think happened is that this guy is a homeless guy too, and all these Venezuelan migrants took over the place where he used to stay at. That's what I think happened. I don't believe that shit at all.
The man is from Cuba and spoke both English and Spanish. The group told us they took out their own knives and garden tools.
Where did they get knives and garden tools from? Can we just address that? I need you guys in the comment section to tell me where did the migrants get knives and garden tools? Where are you growing a garden at in the middle of winter in Denver on the concrete? Why do you have garden tools? Can we discuss that? DeAndre said, "Is that the same dude with the hat on?" He threw that hard hat that he had out of the clear blue sky. Shout out to MC Fact. MC Fact said maybe they stole them. They stopped by the Home Depot. That's where he got that hard hat from.
And sticks to try and defend themselves. This woman says she unsuccessfully tried to calm the man down.
That's how they calm people down in your country? It didn't, ma'am. 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 Okay, let me ask you guys. Have you guys ever tried to calm anybody down by smacking them with a stick? Like a big ass broomstick? Have y'all ever done that? It's not a method that I've ever tried before. I got this feeling it's not gonna work very well. Shout out to Kid Gravity. What's good with it, bro? I got a feeling that is not gonna work it very well. If you've ever tried to calm somebody down by busting them upside the head with the stick, then give me a thumbs up. If you've never tried that method, then give me a thumbs down.
Say, let's go. Take it easy.
We saw CPR being performed on one man before he was put into an ambulance. David Garcia tried to help after the group of migrants tackled the alleged attacker.
Yeah, I actually took the knife out of his hand and disarmed him.
The unhoused migrants told us the attacker today appeared to be under the influence of either drugs or alcohol. Today's attack comes on the heels of what the migrants say was another last night where 4 men attacked their encampment. The migrants say they don't want any trouble. They're just here looking for work. In downtown Denver, Vicente Arenas, 2 Prime News.
All right.
Yeah, man. I guarantee you what happened is that those migrants were taking up the space or the tent city area where that individual usually was at, and he was upset and was trying to fight for his turf. And I gotta agree. Yo, Lloyd Sky 9, you still in here? Techna Siege says treating blacks like this alien movie District 9. Yeah, that's facts. They also encourage that in these online games that they have where they make all of the zombies appear to be black. You know what I'm saying? Lloyd Sky 9 actually put a video of something like that in the Discord. Yeah, they were in his spot. And I got to agree with David. If you guys agree with David Brown, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. David Brown says, if they don't want no trouble, take your ass back. Facts. Big facts. Well, nowadays with these new laws that they implemented at the Texas border, it might be a little bit more difficult to come up to the United States anyway. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. All right, make sure you guys leave lots of comments. Make sure you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for the stream sponsor. Shout out to my man AB Promotions, my man Frozen. Shout out to Lloyd Sky 9. Shout out to Akron Zippy. Shout out to YGLTB1. Shout out to my man DeAndre. And shout out to Black Star Racer. Definitely appreciate each and one of y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you guys take a moment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, share the stream to your social media. And ladies and gentlemen, as always,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour, got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on my knee. That's on TV. That's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me. Come and see me. I been dodging all that fake. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for a feature. That's like every other week. Talk behind my back. I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey.